and grabs her friend by the hand. She sees her friend's eyes, her mouth moving. She's stunned with terror, and she's hurt badly. She seems frozen. There's some green fluid coming from her mouth. The creature roars again, drops her friend, and lashes out one clawed paw across Adrian's face. It burns like fire. She screams again, kicking out, pulling her friend back. The beast roars again, turns, and sprints off into the brush. She got a clear view of it as it passed by. Its tail, thicker than a man's calf. It was segmented, and it was tipped by a massive spine or barb. Her friend made a gurgling sound, vomited, and then tried to speak. She saw something then. It was a tear in her friend's clothing, the sarong that they had bought earlier in the day. It was ripped, and there was a wound about 4 centimeters across where that green ooze was coming out, and she understood then that her friend had been poisoned. Whatever that thing had been had poisoned her friend. She didn't know what to do, so she sat there with her head down, thinking, trying to get control of her breathing. She told her friend that she would help her, that she would go and get help. And that is exactly what she did. She didn't want to leave her friend, but she knew she couldn't carry her. She had been hurt when she had fallen. She didn't even know if her leg would hold her weight. She thought that it could be broken. She was able somehow to hobble up to the trail. She saw a family passing by and yelled at the top of their lungs. They saw her and they ran down the trail thinking that she was trying to rob them. At first, I think, she had never felt so horrified when they had run away. She begged them to come back, and they did. The man looked down and asked what in the world had happened. And she said her friend had been hurt. She had fallen, was attacked by something, some monster. The man thought she was crazy, but he went back with her anyway, where he found her friend. Sure enough, she was on the ground. She was trying to move, but she couldn't. She had vomited again on herself, and she was in agonizing pain. The man helped her, dragging her up on his shoulder. He carried her to the parking lot that they had seen earlier. Within an hour, she was in the hospital. Within 2 hours, a team of doctors were treating her. Her friend made no sense, the doctor said. She was attacked by what? A wild dog? It was no wild dog, Adrian said over and over again. She stayed by her friend's bedside all that night. There was man and woman after man and woman coming in and asking questions, police, doctors, scientists. People thought she was crazy. But that night when one of the nurses came in, a small woman, her skin aged and wrinkled, color of mahogany and peat, she had to be at least 70 years old or more. She walked over with a tender, grandmotherly air. She draped her arm around our friend, Adrienne, who was battered and patched up in a dozen places, and she spoke words of comfort. It's okay. I believe you, and I'm so sorry for what you encountered there. I'm so sorry for what attacked you. Did you see her? Her? Adrienne said. Yeah, her, yes. I saw her. Yes, the screaming woman. Myth and legend here are so much more. What you saw, friend, has been called by many names. In the Greek, they're called the Manticore, but here on Bali, they're called Marushkas. Marushka is a monster, a spirit-walking beast. It feeds on fear, terror, and flesh of man and woman and child. They haunt the high mountain peaks, hunting our people and tourists. Every blue moon, someone disappears in the rainforest. It's the Marushka, they say. They can hear her screams. Very, very few people have been stung by her and gotten clear. You're very lucky to be alive. But if you keep talking crazy about Marushka, they'll put you in here on the 3rd floor where they keep the crazy people in white rooms. Adrienne understood then that she could never tell this story, never, ever tell this story. For if she did, people would know she was just bat crap crazy. But she knows what she saw. She saw a manticore, a monster, a beast with the face of a woman, the body of a lion, and the tail of a foul scorpion. She saw it. You can't convince her that it was a wild dog, or even a lion or a tiger or some escaped beast. She saw Marushka, the Manticore of Bali. Booyah! I hope you enjoyed the story. Welcome in, friends. Welcome in, friends. And you let me know what you thought of that one. You voted our friend alive that time. That could have been very, very bad for her. She could have just been ripped to pieces, ripped asunder by a manticore. But friends, every story that we tell here, it involves bits and pieces of real things. And the manticore was a creature that you can look up as far back as 1,000 years ago, when people spoke of the manticore, a mythological being from India and Ceylon, Sri Lanka, a beast, an amalgam, a chimera, a thing made up of many different parts, of many different things that frighten mankind, all in one place, the manticore. Awesome. Hey, Dakota, I've watched too much. Yeah, you maybe. You never know. You never know. I do like indie. But I hope you enjoy the stories. The stories that we do here are one of a kind because you make the stories. We pick one of our friends for a story, and a golem would be very cool. I'm going to read your chat, see what you thought. Hey, Mike, what do you say? Death Lure, thank you so much for being here. Let me read some comments and see my likers. May I ask why you don't have an aquarium? You know, because we just moved into this house, and we've been on the road, so I haven't kept any exotic animals for a while. Most of my life, I've kept exotic animals, and I've even been toying with the idea of getting some venomous snakes again in the future. But if I do see some things, trust me, it won't be your garden variety things. It would be an animal like myself, a little bit weird and possibly dangerous. We love you guys. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate that so much. Tentacled snakes are one of my favorite. Aren't they awesome? They look like they got little snoots on them, don't they? Is there still snow on the ground? There is snow on the ground. Actually, I'll take you out and show it to you in a little bit. There's not as much as there used to be. You love that, Edmundo? I do too. Hey, Miss Morgan, thank you so much for liking the live. All of my likers, I appreciate you. My videos do so well because you. That's the reason that they do well, because you guys like, and you tear it up. You like that? You needed the adventure? Well, I'm glad, Adrian. I'm glad our friends voted you alive. But we're about to have another vote. Black Ivory, there's an awesome guy to follow. He's an awesome talking about exotic animals, and Black Ivory shows up. He's got some amazing exotic snakes. I fell in love with a couple of his critters that he owns. So great. Did you burn any snow? No, I didn't, Missy, but I've been told that the snow won't burn. I've been told it's weird snow, right? Why are you talking like that? Why are you listening like that? I can make fun of this crowd. I can't you. You guys would snitch on me, but you can't do anything about it. Hey, Terry. Oh, I'm just teasing you. I have a speech impediment. Mostly it's a speech impediment, so my voice does sound a little bit different. And it's also very deep, kind of, some would say a manly voice, you know. So you add those two together, and that's why I talk the way that I do. Same way anybody else talks the way that they do. You know? Hey, Susan, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. But I'd like to pick one of you guys for a story too. But you don't know if you're going to live through the story or not. So that's the thing. We don't know. We take a vote whether you live or not. How about that? We got some people coming in from other places too. So we can pick on them. Pick one of them for a story. I meant to say. I didn't mean to pick on you. I meant to say pick one of you for a story. You know what I mean? That's all. But we'll pick one of you for a story. And what happens after that is up to them. If it's a werewolf, a vampire, a lynx, a snake like the one on the wall, it doesn't matter. It could be a monster, a mythological being. We just told a story about a manticore that you guys like. The way you talk is a gift when combined with your storytelling ability. Well, thank you, Go on the Range. I appreciate that. Stephanie, I am on YT, yeah. Oh, Meganard, I see you down there liking, buddy. Howdy, hey. Susie Siren's in the house. Yeah, Susie. I love it. Kimmy, we need another story. How about that? We need a story. We hit 50,000 likes already because of my freaking amazing likers. So that means we do another story, but we need a vote. We need a vote, man. All right, so we're going to do a vote to see if this next story is a happy story or a, oh my God, it's eating my intestines kind of story. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for the join my team. All right, guys, all you got to do here to vote is touch the screen. Leo the Lion, thanks for all those roses. All you got to do is touch the screen. Just fondle the screen. If you want a happy story, touch the smiling face. If you want a story where somebody gets ripped, torn, hurt, bad, something eats them, maybe a little bit of probing, you know. If you want a story like that, then all you got to do is you got to touch the little crying guy. They're going for the crying guy. You might not want one of these. Hey, Xenomorph, I love the name, man. A little behind-the-scenes sneak peek of the Scruffy. Yeah, you like that? You like that? How do you like that? Hey, what do you say? 20-5. Somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get juiced. The question is, what kind of scary story do you want? You guys like vampires, werewolves, exotic animals? We can tell stories about anything. I'm just a great big nerd at heart, so I love talking about interesting things. If you're interested, I like it. You want a scary story over that way? Let's see. Hello, Russia. Howdy, hey. You guys, hey, oh, Chupacabra. Hey, the Chupacabra over there, I like it, man. We like some of that. Can you say baseline? Baseline. All right, Ghost Town. Ghost Town, that sounds good too, Amy. How about we do that? We take one of their ideas, we take one of your ideas. I like your name, Chupacabra. I like your idea, a ghost town. Why not combine the two? We'll make a little Oreo, a little Storio Oreo. So let's do this. We're going to do exactly that. Does anybody know the story of the Chupacabra? Anybody? You want to hear the real story of the Chupacabra before we get into a story about the Chupacabra, hey? Chupacabra, the goat sucker. An extraordinary mythological being that started not so long ago, in around 1996, when people began seeing something very strange in the island of Puerto Rico. Something that was eating their small animals, their chickens, and eventually their goats, and even their dogs and cats. At first, interestingly enough, what they were seeing was small and ferret-like, like mongoose-like, maybe the size of a cat. And then an amazing movie came out called Species. The movie Species had a beautiful woman that liked to get busy with men and then ate their faces right off. And after that, something really amazing happened. The same scary thing, the Chupacabra that they had been seeing. Now it had morphed into a strange alien, kangaroo-like reptilian monster that hopped around in the night, delivering death and blows to the throat and sucking you dry through exsanguination. A lot of people believe it's nothing more than myth and legend, but we're about to find out tonight if that is true. And all I need is a victim tear. I need somebody brave enough to go, I'll find out. How about it? Mimon? Now, this isn't going to be a happy story. You saw that vote, Mimon. I hate to throw it on you, but you're a moderator, you know. So would you please, would you pick one of our friends for a scary story about El Chupacabra in a very unexpected place? How about that? In the meantime, I need to fuel up with the sweet, sweet taste of a nerd candy. Oh, God. Look away. I have a problem. You want one? All right, you can have one. You get yours too. Don't worry. They're guests here. They go first. All right. There you go. Little nerdy nerd. That's good. Don't snatch. All right. Oh, it's good. You like it? Don't act like you don't like it. Oh, it's good. If you never had a story, put some red hearts in the chat. Thank you, Mimo. We got a Mimo over here. You don't have one yet. She can come over and visit, though. You have Kit Kats? Oh, Kit Kats are good. I've already got the story up here. Just needs to come out of here. This is going to be a scary story. I want you to understand it's not made for children. Somewhere PG-14. All right, PG-14-ish. Somebody's going to have a terrifying encounter with something otherworldly. And it's not going to go their way. But we're going to give them a chance to vote them alive. All right? Which, this is a fully interactive storytelling experience. So anything can happen here. But I'm telling you now, what's going to happen is not looking good. We're just waiting on a victim. Country Swagger, come on down, buddy. Let's get you on the board of fate. Country Swagger. You guys go follow our friend Country Swagger. I am the Creature Preacher. You can find me all over the place. Country Swagger, though. You can find him right here, right now. And unfortunately, oh, Country, this is not going to look good for you. Oh, God. Get your little nose there. You have hair. I got some hair. Maybe I'll put a little hat on your head. There's our friend Country. Oh, God. Where are you? Oh, man. That's the face of somebody that just is not happy. Oh, God. It hurts. Why does it hurt so bad? His nickname had been Country as long as he knew, ever since he was a little boy. I reckon that was the name his father or uncle gave him. Little Country. He found himself in his Bronco. He loved that Bronco. It was a 1986 full-size Bronco. He was traveling across the California desert. He had never been to California before. He had just passed through Arizona, and he had enjoyed Arizona so much, but his dream had always been to drive from Northern California all the way to Southern and beyond. It was hot and dry and dusty. It reminded him nothing more of that movie, Tremors, if you can remember that movie. The desert that he was looking at, it was very, very sparse. In the distance, you could see a haze. It was hot and dry. His Bronco had been doing very, very good. It had had no issues overheating until that moment. He saw it begin to hiss and spit, and he knew that if he didn't pull over, he was about to overheat. He looked down at his gauge, tapping on it in frustration. Country cursed a little bit and then pulled over. He figured he might as well use some of his water. It's exactly what he did, but the problem was it got locked up. He couldn't get it to start. He was in the middle of nowhere, to be quite honest with you. Although he wasn't quite concerned yet, it could turn bad. It was nearly 100 degrees out there. He had 5 gallons of water at the very least. He knew that he should have stopped and gotten more. He has plenty of fuel, but without a lifeline, without another car coming by, if he can't get this truck going, he thought to himself, well, he's in a lot of trouble. He spent the next half hour in the heat on the side of that dusty road. It seemed like he was eating the desert with every breath before he finally gave up. He tried to make a call then, and the panic rose in his face and his throat when he realized he had absolutely zero service. He tried standing on top of his truck. He tried everything. Country finally admitted defeat and realized that he was going to have to walk back the way that he came, or he could look at his map. He looked at his map, and sure enough, there was a small town less than 3 miles away. 3 miles it showed on his map. He was so grateful for that map. He had had that map ever since he was 15 years old. His grandfather had given it to him. He looked at the map, he marked it off, he grabbed his water and all of his supplies, even his bedroll, and he took off for the town. The sun was going down. He figured that was a good thing with the heat of the day. California heat is no joke. He heard a coyote howl in the distance. It was a mournful cry, the cry of the coyote. It didn't scare him none, not at all. He'd been around critters like that his whole life. He looked off into the desert night as the sun was going down, stopping for a moment, taking it all in. The sky was beautiful, mauve and purple with pink. The sun was just down below the horizon in the distance over the mountains, but its light was still casting a shadow over the whole valley. It was absolutely beautiful now. He wondered what the coyote was up to. Was he chasing a bird or a young animal? He might never know. He was just getting ready to walk off in the distance when he heard something. It was another cry in the night, a screeching cry, a frightening cry. He had never heard anything quite like it. He stopped again in his tracks, looked around, consternation. Now what the hell was that? And then he did the next logical thing. He looked down at his feet for a rock to pick up or a stick. Oh, there it is. He picked up a fair-sized stick off the ground and a rock as big as his fist. It made him feel a little bit safer with that. He also had his knife on his hip, but it was a small blade. They only let you carry a 3.5-inch blade, so that's exactly what it was, a pocket knife. What could make a cry like that, he thought to himself. He began walking faster for the town. He was grateful when he covered the distance in less than an hour and he saw the outline of the town. He saw it and something didn't quite feel right. He began to hurry, eventually jogging up to the town. He stopped in sudden dawning horror. Oh my God, he thought. There's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here. The gas station that he had been looking at from a distance had been closed, obviously, for years. It looked like something from an apocalypse movie or from a game, a video game about a future gone terribly wrong. Row after row of business and building boarded up and broken down and falling in. A church off in the distance. Nothing. Nobody. No kids, no cars. Every car that he saw was a rusted heap. And it seemed like those rusted heaps had come from the late 80s, early 90s maybe. What the hell? It said that this town, Defiance, was supposed to be here. I'm screwed. God, no, I'm screwed, he thought. He had his backpack. He had some water. He ran over to one of the old buildings. He tried the water and nothing. He would have to find a well. He would have to just get through. He didn't know what he was going to do. No cell signal. It's dark. I could barely see anything now, he thought. He figured on finding a place to shack up for the night. The church that he saw would probably be the best spot, he thought to himself. He went back for the church. Something creeped him out about that idea. Something just did not sit right with him at all. It felt weird. But he still opened up the church door. Its old white door faded, the wood behind peeling and rotten. He opened up the door. Bang! It was the sound of something falling. A mop fell from behind the door. It about gave him a heart attack. Oh, God, he thought. He looked at the inside, the pews covered in cobwebs, the pulpit, likewise, everything covered in filth and dirt. He saw old Sunday school bulletins and Bibles laying out on the floor. I hope you don't mind me camping here for the night, God, he said, as he walked in, shutting the door behind him with a bang. He flipped on his headlamp. He was so grateful he had thought to bring that. It was his favorite one for adventuring. It was a bright light and a dull light that would last him for days if he used the smaller light. So that's exactly what he did. And in the shadow of that light, he wandered around to look at his home for the night. Every door that he opened, he was sure that a leaping coyote or a puma would come out, or a wolf, something. But there was nothing there with him. He chose what looked like the pastor's office. There were old books and commentaries all over the office, Bibles everywhere. That's where he would camp for the night. He moved the desk to the side, and he went underneath it. He had nothing to eat that night but a Snickers bar. He sat underneath the desk, wondering what the next day would bring. And he ate the Snickers bar, and he thought to himself that it was the greatest freaking candy bar that he had ever had in his life. So good. He had gobbled down dozens of Snickers in his life, but one had never tasted this good. The caramel, the nougat, the sweet, delicious chocolate melted on his tongue, and he didn't want it to end. His tummy still rumbled afterwards. He promised he would get a king-size Snicker the next day, and he would wolf it down with a cold Coke. But he'd better off just go to sleep now, he thought to himself. And friends, it's about to get real creepy in here. You sure you want it to go the way it's going? You guys want a scary story, right? I'm going to thank everybody. You like Keith's? I'm going to thank everybody. Then we're going to get right back to the story, all right? Give me just a minute. Now you want a Snickers, country? Yeah, I could use one too. Hey, Zequel. Appreciate that. Hey, Rob, what in tarnation? This is interactive storytelling experience, and I'm the creature preacher. We're right dab in the middle of a story that combines something that you wanted and something that you wanted, or a little bit of both. Our friend laid down under that old desk, that old dusky desk in that old preacher's office, and he drifted off into an uneasy slumber. He awoke a short time later, bumping his head when he sat up, turning on his light. He wasn't sure what he had heard. He was certain that he had heard something, though. It was dark in the office. Was it a creak of the floor? Maybe. No? He thought. What was that? Bang! Something hit the door with tremendous force. Bang! It hit it again. His heart jumped in his chest. Literally jumped. He felt it cramp. He had never been more frightened in his life. What is it? Go away, he said. After one more loud bang, it stopped. And he sighed with relief. Bang! He heard something land up above him, on the floor above him, and he had no idea what was going on. Stop it! I'm armed, he said, but he knew it was a damn lie. And whatever was out there probably knew it too by the quavering in his voice. I'm armed! I'm not afraid to use it! Leave me alone! I'm just here for the night. If you want me to leave, I'll leave, but leave me alone! He yelled, and the sound quickly stopped. There was only one window in the room, and he suddenly felt very, very strongly about that window. He turned slowly towards it. He wanted to scream, he really did. He wanted to scream and run. He held his head, looking out the window. Ah! He yelled. He got to his feet suddenly running. Country almost fell over his own feet in his haste to get out, to get away from the freaking window, get away from that thing, the thing that was staring in at him, the thing, oh God, the thing, its eyes, glowing with malevolent light. It was a twisted, horrid-looking beast. Its face was human-like, but this was no human. Its mouth was open in a menacing grin. He looked down, and he realized he had wet himself. There's no shame in it. That thing doesn't belong in this world. He was running now. He had no idea where, just away from that window. He heard the window break behind him, and it gave speed, the terror did. He slid on the hardwood floor, the dust and the debris. He slid, going down hard, running now down the hall. He heard something take out after him. He desperately wanted to look behind him, but he knew he didn't have time. He had to get out on the street, get away, get out of this building. Whatever was after him, it was so fast. He heard it closing in. He wanted to turn, but he didn't. If he could just make it to the door, he was reaching for the door. His hand had the knob. Ah! Something grabbed him, and he fell to the ground, thrown with such force that he knocked his face on the ground, and he felt bones cave in and teeth breaking. He rolled to his back. He had heard a man called the creature preacher say, if you were ever attacked by something like a bear or a lion or a leopard, the beast that he works with, you have to fight. Fight for your life, because they're trying to take it. And he did fight. He turned and he saw it. He kicked it free somehow, and the beast hopped back, hopped like a kangaroo, its legs large and misshapen. Not like a kangaroo at all, bent and broken. They were angled all wrong for locomotion. It looked demonic. Its body was green, twisted, with spines running along its back. Its eyes shimmered with a red and ochre light. Its nostrils flared and its mouth opened. That noise that he had heard earlier in the desert night came from its mouth again. And he said, please, God, no. Please don't eat me. Please, God, don't eat me. The thing opened up its mouth again, screeching, hopped closer, its clawed arms, sure, powerful, and menacing, with thick black claws. It reached for him. He batted its hand away, like a child batting away the hand of its bully. He turned its face as the thing opened its mouth, and its tongue rolled out, grotesque, worm-like appendage, pink and muscular. It licked him across his face. He wanted to fight, but all the fight left him at that moment. As the thing licked him, its toxic saliva coated his face. He felt it burn and numb immediately. He didn't understand the cramping in his chest. He thought he was having a heart attack. It was then that he decided to make his escape. He tried, he really did. His brain told his legs to move, but they wouldn't move. They wouldn't move! They just stayed there. Oh, God. They just stayed there. Its teeth were made specifically for this job. As it reached down gently now, opening him up, it drank greedily and deeply. He was not terrified now. It was peaceful where he was. He had made it to the ocean, all the way to the ocean. He was in Southern California, on the beach, with his feet in the water and the sun on his back. California is beautiful, he thought, but I need a nap. So sleepy. It must be the sun, he thought to himself, as he laid back and took his last breath in the embrace of El Chupacabra, the goat sucker. His body lay in that old ghost town and that old church office. It desiccated there, dried until it was nothing but a husk. His remains were found in 2012. His case is still unsolved. His Bronco had been discovered not long after he went missing, but they never had a clue until that moment of what happened to him all those years before. They thought that he just wandered off and died in the desert. I hope you enjoyed the story. I know it was rather macabre, but it happened. You voted for it. I didn't do it, you did. And I'm going to eat some candy, and I'm going to read comments and thank my likers and say hello to everybody that I can. Candy. Hey guys, let's read. Thank you, Chuck Aliff. I see you there. Let's keep doing it, Creature Preacher. You look like you're losing weight. Thank you. Let's keep doing it. I am losing weight. I've been trying to hit the gym and get in shape and work on it. I had somebody pop up on one of my videos and say something super duper nasty. They said that I must be on something to have lost all the weight that I've lost. I've gained a lot of it back, man. You should have seen me when I was in Naples. But all fasting and hard work, hitting the gym, push-ups, a lot of work. I didn't do it the easy way, the stem fast way. Hey, Steve Coffee, good to see you. Megan, thanks for liking the live. Thank you for being here and moderating. So glad to see you. Hey, El Chupacabra, what do you think of that Chupacabra story? Did you like it okay? Do you like the storytelling, just random stuff? Thank you. Steve, you're the best. Michael Shuttleworth Music, I'm glad to see you. Brandy, Phil, and Phil, howdy, eh? So good to have you. Jesse, I see those likes. Thank you for our friends that got us to 80,000 likes. Look at that. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. Good detailing your stories. Thank you, Green Bay champs. I appreciate that. I love that. That was a great story, Country. I'm glad. I'm sorry you didn't survive it. I wish you had. We got nearly 106 friends here. Thank you, guys. We got 36 over here. I'm so glad to know you. If you've never met me before, I am the Creature Preacher. That story, of course, was crafted for you. And it was based on one of your names, Chupacabra, and it was based on our friend over here that wanted a ghost town story. Everything else just kind of came, so we love it. Hey, Miss Pookie. Hey, Toby. Good to see you, friend. Omegonaut, you're absolutely amazing. Look at all those likes. Pinty, howdy. I got to chew these candies and swallow them down. now I'm fueled. Shelly made some amazing food out there. I can't wait. She made a Korean beef bowl. Never had that before. You want a ghost ship story, Salvo? We can make that happen, buddy. We can make that happen, Captain. We can do anything you want. In fact, I reckon we can't get stumped around here. We tried for years now to stump me on something. We can tell a story about anything you like. You just have to tell me what it is. Are you frightened of snakes? Or you like superpowers? We can tell you a happy superpower story, or we can tell you a bad, scary superpower story. We can do anything you like. No, I get to eat dinner afterwards. That's part of my fast. I fast during the day, and I try to eat about the same time. So after my story time tonight, I'll heat it, and I'll eat, and I'll enjoy myself. I'll go riding my bike, or I'll go kayaking. I might even go for a swim down on the dock. And we might take you guys on an adventure in a little bit. So if you guys want to, you keep ripping those likes and being amazing. If we hit another couple gift goals, or we hit those like goals, we'll go for an adventure tonight. We'll have some fun with it. Hey, Kev, what do you say, buddy? Hey, Omeganaut. Hey, Tack Viking. Good to have you. Kobe, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Phil and Phil, howdy, buddy. Hey, Chuck, thank you for the likes. How cold is it? It is cold right now. Computer, what's the temperature in Fort Walton Beach, Florida?
Right now, in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, it's 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 20 degrees.
20. That's great. Cold. Hey, Bobby Lee. Howdy. 8 degrees. That's cold. What do you guys got? You guys in a nice warm place? I'd like it. The snow is something else. Wasn't it? It was really amazing. We got about 7 inches of snow here in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. I took you on an amazing adventure. If you're following from different places, just look up the Creature Preacher wherever you can find me. Some of my adventures are here, some of them are there. But we went to an amazing island during a snowstorm, and I got some of that on video. Has anybody seen my last video that I did, though? I'm still freaked out about what I heard. So this is a true story, you know, not like the ones I'd make up for you here. But I'm out kayaking in a snowstorm the other day, going over to some abandoned islands right behind our house. And as I'm going out there, I hear something in the distance. I yell, I'm like, this is great! You know, I was like, woo! And then I hear something about 6 or 7 seconds later. Oh, we got people being, guys, all we ask is that you kind of be nice, if you can. You know, I understand there's a lot of people that maybe they're younger and it's kind of harder for them, but we ask people try to be nice. Whatever community you find me, we try to build a nice community where we don't argue, we don't get off on being mean to each other and stuff. There's plenty of places you can go do that. It's just not really amusing, you know? So our moderators on both sides, they always try to give everybody a chance to be nice, and if not, they'll just boot you out. Think of it like a live performance. You don't want some dingbat over there making noise and stuff and heckling the comedian when you're trying to listen to him. So unfortunately, they do that. I wish it didn't have to happen like that, but usually our moderators will give somebody a boot after they say nicely to, hey, behave yourselves, be adults. Hey, Kev, well said, right? Who wants that? I mean, who really does? I think it's so cringe when you go to a place like that. Everybody that goes to a show and they pay money to go into a show, they think it's cringe when somebody pops up and they start acting a fool. At a music show or a comedian show or anything, those are the people that everybody's just like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, for real. It's just kind of pitiful. But that's why. So you go a lot farther with being nice anyway in life. I used to be a real dink and not be very nice to people, but today I practice niceness rather than dinkness. It's disgraceful over there. Yeah, that's all right. Becky Ridge, good to see you. Jesse, thank you so much for liking. Trent, thank you very much for liking. We do appreciate it. And for our friends over here, we love you guys too. We really do. I'm just glad to have you. But this is a regular thing we're going to do every night. We do our story time, and we're going to start adding other places where people can watch as well. I also do have a podcast, and I tell some pretty cool stories about very real things and very interesting things. Our podcast can be found over on Patreon if you wanted to sub. I have one episode. We're working on the second one now. The first one was a bear attack survivor. Crazy story. It's even got some UFOs and aliens in that one, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. But little kindness goes a long way. You got that right. And thank you guys for those that have gifted tonight, those that have helped us. We really do appreciate it. TikTok's been a really weird place lately with all the changes. I know that I've lost a creator fund. We've lost a lot of our subs. We lost a lot of things. And people, a lot of our friends that ordinarily would love to support us, they can't because they can't even get the app and recharge. I've heard horror stories of people that got rid of the app, thinking that they had to get rid of the app, and then they can't download it again. So it's been a strange place. Howdy, James, appreciate that. You were telling us a true story. I can tell you true stories as well if you like those. It's just about what you guys like to talk about. We talk about animals. I'm a zoologist. I call myself a traveling zoologist and storyteller, but I've worked with critters most of my life. dangerous animals, animals that could kill you. So, you know, I love to talk about those, but I like interesting, really cool animals. The stranger, the better. But that's kind of what I do. Dude, I was just telling my friends how you're one of my favorite people. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, James. Apple's not cooperating with TikTok. They won't feel that it is safe. Is that what it is, Wade? Hey, thanks for the join my team. I appreciate that. What do you say, Jugs? I can't do a live right now with you, Bubba, but I love you, man. I hope you're doing all right. I really do. We're going to tell a story here in a minute. We got a story just about coming. We're going to have a vote. That's why I can't do a box. But so yeah, it's an Apple thing. We do have a link tree for anybody that wanted to support the stories. They wanted to help us out. You can go over to our link tree and you can find that stuff and you can do it there. But that would be really, really helpful for us now. We're going to be traveling this week, but the show is going to go on. You might see me in a basement next week and then in a room, another room the other week. But we've committed to be here. James, thank you so much. Appreciate those roses. We've committed to be here nightly for you for story time. And we're looking forward to that. So we're going to be traveling to near Chicago, Illinois, and then we're going to be near Toledo, Ohio. So I'm not really looking forward to all that. So every bit of support right now is very much appreciated. It'll help us get back and forth to home and back. And we're going to be having some fun stories, because whenever I go up that way, we have different adventures. We'll go out on some fun adventures together. James, thank you. We'll probably go see the Columbia House, one of the most haunted houses in America, especially the state of Ohio, certainly, James. Thank you so much. But we'll check those out too. So we'll keep having fun wherever we go, but we have to travel this week. Away from Florida. I don't really like traveling away too much. I'm just now getting to where I'm enjoying it here and relaxing. Today's your birthday? Get out of Dodge. 900 TV. Happy birthday, friend. Happy birthday. James, you're unbelievable. Thank you for the roses. Let's read some comments here. I'm going to thank my likers. Pinty, I see you down there liking. Hey, Missy. Thank you, James. I appreciate the heck out of that. Let's meet up in Ottawa. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. That's not that far away. Please get very prominent on Insta. We're working over there too. So I do also have, Insta. We're going to be on Facebook. I've got some stuff over there. So we're trying to break the 8. We're trying to get out in other places as well. So we're being joined tonight with some of our friends from Uncle Yube. As I always call you guys Uncle Yube. And this is Uncle Tickety Tack. So we're also going to have Uncle Insta over here one of these days. The Uncle Meta, the Meta brothers maybe. I don't know. But we're going to be streaming in other places as well. We really are grateful. Please ask them to finish. Which one to finish? I might not understand. Was I in the middle of a story? I might have been. Hey, Steve Coffee. If you ever come to Cleveland, you better look me up. James, you better believe it. Hey, Lois. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Love you, Steve. Good to have you. My birthday's in 3 days on the 25th. Love don't live here anymore. I like that owl in your picture. You know that? Mima. Oh, I was telling you a true story? I don't remember what it was about. What was the true story about? I get so discombobulated at times. I got so many stories in my head. If you remind me of what the story is, I'll be happy to tell you some of it. It's what you guys want, though. You have to remind me, though, because I completely forgot. I completely forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, what I heard. Sorry about that. Good Lord. I am bad. All right. So this is exactly the 3rd time I've heard something. Both the other times I was out there at night. One time I was fishing at night. Another time I just walked out at night. I heard something out in the distance, like a whoo, something like that. It sounds really weird, but that's what I heard. So I went in the kayak the other day. The storm was blowing. The storm had just kicked up a fuss. We got about 7 inches, but we had just had about an inch on the ground at that point. And I got the idea that I wanted to go kayak to the island. I wanted to take you guys along on a bit of an adventure, so we did. We kayaked over. I put you in my breast pocket, but as I was going over, I was trying to get there's a dangerous spot that you have to cut through because it's a shipping channel. I could barely see because of the storm. And if you dunk in the water there, you'd just as well drown because the water was, probably just above freezing pretty much. And the snowstorm's coming down and we're wearing all the heavy gear. Luckily I had a life vest on, but it would have been trouble. So I'm trying to concentrate on just staying alive and getting through this area. And I call out like, woo! And as soon as I do that, about 5 seconds later, I hear this, woo! And I'm like, I was talking with you guys. I was trying not to think about that, but it sounded like it was on the other side of the island that I was going to. And I was like, now that was really weird. But I didn't make too much of it at that time. I didn't think too much of it. And not long after that, I heard a splash, like a big splash from over the other side of the island, like a dolphin breached and came down. But still didn't think much of it. So I went to the island. and I checked out the island, and I decided to come home because the storm was really picking up, and I didn't want to get stuck there. I had to kayak back. I was thinking, man, if I go in the water, I'm in trouble. You can see all that adventure on my video, and you can hear this when I'm getting ready to tell you. You can actually hear it on my video. But I edited a video tonight, right before I came on live. That's why I was running late. I had some things I was doing, and then I was editing a video. And as I was editing the video, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I heard that again in the video, and I go, now wait a second. That couldn't have been my voice, because I was thinking that it could have been my echo through the storm, maybe because I just made that loud noise, but it came so much later, and it freaked me out. So I listened to it about a dozen times, and every time I listened to it, I thought, good God, that's more and more like what I heard the other night. And I don't think it was a bird. I don't know. Somebody said it was a bear. I don't know what it was. I have found bear prints on that island in the past, but I didn't see any evidence. It was the smaller of the two islands. I didn't see any evidence of bear. It freaked me out, though, and when I listened to it, I was wondering if anybody's seen that video. John, I was thinking possibly a loon, but it seemed so deep. It was like, it wasn't a loon. Hey, join my team. Thank you, Miss Morgan. We hit it. We're going to tell a story. Look at that. But it was hey, James, thank you for the roses. It was a weird sound. It was like a deep, guttural, like, I can't really explain it. And it almost, I don't know. I thought maybe it was a pelican or something that I've never heard of. Pelicans can make some weird noises, but it sounded like, it just creeped me out. So I must have listened to it a dozen times. I have no idea what it was. It could have been a bear. Maybe I scared a bear into the drink. Maybe he went for a swim, because, it's pretty shallow there. I could have heard a bear. Maybe that splash was a bear running off the island into the water to get away. Bear regularly cruise through. In fact, we could go out any given time and probably see bear activity around us because they come and get in trash. Bigfoot or Sasquatch, I didn't say that on the video, but that's kind of like, people think you're crazy when you say it, but that's the only thing I can really I don't know what else would be out in the storm like that other than a guy like me and an animal, like what else would it be? But it was a really weird feeling to hear it again, because I clearly heard it, the other day, but I didn't really put two and two together. But when I heard it again today, it just sounded different. Meemaw, thank you so much. Thank you, James. Let's tell a story. We're going to have a vote here. We do votes to see how we go with the story, if it's going to be a happy story or a sad story or a scary story or what we do. So we're going to have a vote right now. The vote, thank you for the heart me. The vote determines everything. And hold on, let me get this up. We're going to pin a gift goal if anybody did, James. That way it'll contribute towards that. You're absolutely amazing, friend. Hey, Doug, but we're going to have a vote right now. The vote's absolutely free. I ask that you take part, please. It determines everything for the story. It determines whether we're going to have a happy story or a scary story. And here we can tell any kind of story you want. We can tell a very, very happy one and a very, very sad one, or a very scary one. So if you want a very happy story, vote for the little guy that's smiling. If you want a scary story, you know what to do. You vote for the little guy that's crying, because something most likely is going to eat them. And it might be a Sasquatch, and it might be a vampire. It could be a dragon. It could be black-eyed kids. It could be just about anything in the world. But I like a happy story, too, a happy story where you maybe get the love of your life. Thank you for that. Love the mustache. Where you get the love of your life, or you get to see something that nobody's ever seen, like the tomb of Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great's resting place, or you get to find a new world to explore, a beautiful world like that, a world of the fae, of the fairy, an enchanted forest, maybe. So you want a happy story where things go your way, where you visit a place like this, or you find the darkest corners of hell. It's where you like. Yeah. And it's not looking good over here. It's looking like another scary story. Sorry, Edwin. I know you say happy story. I'll tell you what I'll do is this. It'll start off happy. I always try to start it happy. And it's going to get crappy, but we'll start it happy. How about that? All right. The question is, what kind of story? What frightens you? Is it spiders? Is it sharks? Is it snakes? Maybe it's your ex-wife, your mother-in-law. I don't know. Maybe it's crocodiles, alligators, James. Maybe it's aliens. Maybe it is the fae, the fairy that frightened you. Maybe you don't like clowns. Spooky forest expedition and discovering Utah raptors. I like it. I like it. A megalodon, Missy said. The unknown. I like that. That's the most frightening thing of all, the unknown. Do you think I'll win in states wrestling? I'd love to watch you wrestle. I'd love to watch you. I don't know who you are, but I'd love to watch you. I used to wrestle too. And jiu-jitsu, and I still get to box every now and then. Hopefully it's in a ring. Sinking ship. Oh, a sinking ship. That might be a terrifying thing to explore. Imagine that. How about it? A sinking ship. Oh no, running out of cake. Hey, hybrid. The ones that explorers of this day were there to research. I like that, James. What about a story about a storm story? Yeah, a storm story sounds pretty daggum good, doesn't it? We could do something like that. What about you? You guys got anything over there? I see those. I see a lot of messages being deleted over there. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I am sorry. I hope everybody can be nice. It's so much more fun. That way you can get to stick around for the story and stuff, you know? I'd love you to tell a story about the pyramids in South America. You know, that'd be a lot of fun too. Let's read. I want to see some of your guys. If you guys an ocean storm story, no says. Fortnite, what do you say? Clowns, someone said? Oh, you don't like clowns? Yeah. Oh, man. Possum on pause, let's see. But I'd love to watch you wrestle. I really would. Let's see. Some more storm story. Can't wait to hear a story about it. The storm inside an enchanted painting after discovering pyramids. Steel, I love the way you think. Hey, Art. Hey, there's a great person to follow. I hope you're doing well, Art. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Yeah, we get to play with critters all the time. I just don't get to post much of it around here. I'm going to be down working with lions and tigers here in the next few weeks, and big-ass snakes and alligators, too. So we're going to be putting some really fun stuff out. I'm going to go, hopefully, camp down at Quietchobe here in the near future, and we'll be doing our live streams from Quietchobe as soon as I get back to Florida way. So thank you for the roses, friend. I'm gonna pick our story here in just a second. We're gonna roll with it. Sinking ship in a storm, shark-infested waters. Eric, I'm digging your ideas. So let's do it. I need a victim though. Sorry about that. We need to pick one of you for a story. So Christopher, if you don't mind, or is Meemaw, who's up? Which one of my amazing moderators could pick for a story? I need one of our friends here for story time, and I need them as quick as we can get them because the story's busting to come out. Yeah. So you guys ready for it? You ready? All right. Phil, you need to take the airboat. You know what? God, my buddy, you guys need to follow Phil. He's an amazing airboat captain in Florida. We've gotten into some crazy adventures together, he and I already. We went over on his island that he caretakes, and a beautiful inhabited island when you're there, but it's an island in the middle of an awesome place, and I don't even know the area. Not Crystal River, it'd be more Homosassa, would it? It was such a great time. There was goats on the island. There were goats. There was some other life on the island, but we had a great barbecue over there, told some fun stories. It was great. Hey, Scott Rizzo, thanks for the roses. Who else gave over there that I missed? And who's my likers? James, I see you. Pinty, I see you down there liking. You likers gave us this next story, so you guys go find a liker and you follow them. They've been amazing. They say that there's viruses around those pyramids in South America. Listen, there's some creepy stories attached to it. But I'm ready for the story. We just need one of you guys. So if not Meemaw, we'll have Christopher pick for the story. But let's see if we can get somebody. Is anybody new that would like a story here? And we'll have to get you guys involved with the story here too. Okay? We'll have to do that. Hey, Leave It. Good to see you, friend. James, you're absolutely being amazing tonight. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. I'll pick. Who hasn't had a story? Put some hearts. Hey, James. Hey, Miss Morgan. Hey, Kirsty. Good to see you, friend. Hey, Matt Wentland. Thanks for liking. Hey, Butterfly Lady. Hey, Haladala. What do you say? Hey, Pinty. I'm not amazed. You're like the best storyteller ever. I appreciate that, James. You know, I'd like to do some storytelling. You know, somebody say there's a storytelling competition. They keep saying I should be in it. Kirsty, thanks for the galaxy. Holy cow. James, thanks for the roses. Man, appreciate that. Gino, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that follow. Gigi, I love it. I love it. Make some noise on the screen. Hey, tapping is clapping, and any kind of noise you make is exciting because Uncle TikTok and Uncle Yube go, hey, they're having fun over there. They're talking. They're doing stuff. So please do make some noise. Listen, try to be nice as you can. I know it's hard sometimes. It's even hard for me. But if you can be nice, try to be nice. Just think of it kind of like an auditorium with some kids in the back. You know, try to be kind of that level of nice. You can still, psst. Hey, James, what do you say? Thank you for the roses again. Where'd you get that ball in my hand? My good friend Scott sent me this. I love these. And I got a big ball, too. I got some big balls. And I got little balls. You know, I can show you my big ones. See? It's bigger. It just looks small. It's really big. I pull that out under special occasions. I'll take the big ball out. All right, James, you are the best. Levick, man, I love you. I have tried birch sap water. I love it. I love birch sap water. I love birch beer. Oh, it's good. I love it. Hey, don't live here. You guys are the best. You're my pick. Come on down. Carol Wilcox, Meemaw, thank you so much. Where are you, Carol? You ready for a story? This story's not going to go your way, friend. I apologize for that right now. But we'll have a vote down the road. Maybe they'll save you some trouble. Carol wasn't expecting the storm. She'd been making her way along the Florida Panhandle from Alabama. She had just passed Pensacola when the first snowflakes began to fall. She was in the Gulf of Mexico, a few miles out, and she had never been more frightened in her life. The squalls came thick and fast. The snowflakes were huge, wet, and clinging. She had to take in the sail of her boat. She had been sailing around the world on her own for the last 5 years of her life. She was a very accomplished sailor. She could do everything on her own. She traveled with just her cat and her dog in her small sailboat. It was only a 27-foot boat, but it was perfect for the three of them. Just right, and it had been a cozy small home. They had wintered many storms in it, too. They've been fine, but this came out of nowhere. She looked up and saw the freezing, clinging rain, and she let out a little shout of frustration. Her boat could handle a lot, but not freezing rain. Before she knew it, the freezing rain was weighing her vessel down. She began to panic. She put in for an SOS, but all she got back was static. She didn't realize that her SOS wouldn't even make it out in this. This was a storm of the century. It hit so suddenly, they closed the bridges immediately. And on the mainland, the Coast Guard's building had been shut down already. If she had known, she would have went for the sheltered bay, the intercoastal waterway. But she was in the middle of the ocean when this freak blizzard popped up. She did everything that she knew to be safe, putting 2 anchors into the water. It helped a bit, but it wasn't enough. She went down to the hold of her cabin. Everything was tossing back and forth, back and forth. She hugged her knees and held on tight, prayed and hoped that she would see the sun come up in the morning. She heard the pelting of the freezing rain on the deck. She went out once or twice to check. The snow was piling up and freezing rain was thick. And that's when she first saw the slushy water. It was in her bilge, and she was terrified like she had never been terrified in her life. The bilge water was icy and slushy. She looked down in horror. My God, I'm taking on water! I'm taking on water! She began running her pump. It began running. It ran strong for a solid 10 seconds, and then it fizzled, made a popping sound, and it gave out. She had seen the water rise even as it was running, and she knew that she was going to go down, and there was nothing that she could do about it. She grabbed her wet bag. She stuffed her wet bag with everything she could think of. She began panicking, calling her dog over, putting the life vest on the dog and on her cat. She looked down at her small cat in horror. The cat was 13 years old. To go in that icy water, she knew it would kill this cat. Please, God, no. She tried SOS again. She looked at her dinghy that she had on the side of her boat. She thought to herself that that would be her last resort. If she had to, she would get in the dinghy. It was a small thing. She would put her cat and her dog in it now. That would be the smartest thing for her to do. She had to keep them safe. Above all, had to keep them safe. She lifted up her small dog. It was a border collie. She lifted it and put it in the Zodiac, the inflatable craft, with some food and supplies. Her cat was panicking, clawing at her, was terrified. She grabbed the cat and put it in its cat case and also put it in the Zodiac. The Zodiac was affixed to the side of her boat at all times. It had weathered every storm with her. She had no reason to fear at all that it would come loose. But it did. She had just put her cat in it. She had went inside to get a few more things, some water. And she looked back in horror as the nose of the craft was angled down towards the water itself. She screamed in horror like a fisherman losing a fishing rod. To the fish of his dreams, she lurched and ran for the boat. Her hands reached out. She very nearly touched the guy rope. But the boat, It fell with a splash into the icy water. She was going to jump. She almost did, but she thought that she'd be able to get the gaff and maybe get a rope on the boat. But by the time she could make up her mind to even turn towards the pole, the boat had drifted off in the night. She knew that if she jumped, she would miss it. She'd be in that water. She could die of hypothermia. She couldn't chance it. She was shivering and shaking in the cold, as much with shock and terror than anything. No, she cried to her pets. No! As she saw the craft go off in the distance, sucked into the cold, dark night, she grabbed her headlamp and put it on her head, and she cried, her tears mixing with the freezing rain and the snow. The water was now up to her kneecaps in her boat. She had to go high on the decking. Oh, God, so cold. She put her frog togs on in haste and her life vest. The boat was her last resort. If this boat goes all the way down, I'll die out here. I'll die. It'll be 3 to 5 minutes. She remembered hearing a man teach about that. A man on TikTok called the Creature Preacher talked about the dangers of dying from hypothermia. Computer, turn volume down. Computer, turn volume down. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you guys are here. Hey, Teresa. Computer, turn the volume down. There was a short, and her radio in the background began to play Hank Williams music. It was scratchy and old, just like the old records. It was an eerie sound in the tight confines of the cabin. A strange, eerie sound. She wished that it would go away, that sound, she thought, as she hunkered above the water that was seeping in slowly. She looked around in her surroundings, even trying her whistle, whistling again and again, calling out, flashing her light into the night, trying to get somebody's attention, anybody's attention with SOS. She was warm and fairly dry, at least for the time being, as she tried to get anybody's attention, anybody at all, with her headlamp. She knew that it was futile and vain. The light of her powerful lamp went no more than 20 feet in that blizzard. She was afraid that she would die here. She turned her light on, looking down at the water of the boat. Ah! She screamed, jumping back as far as she could. Oh, God, no! No, not shark, no! She saw the massive fin, and she knew immediately what it was. Oh, my God! She had seen Jaws as a small girl. Part of her attempt at circumnavigating the globe was built upon that fear as a child. To help her overcome her fear, she tried to love the thing that she feared. And she does love shark, but she's terrified. She sees the massive shape, and she shudders, not from the bone-numbing cold, but the terror inside. When she saw that fin, she judged the size of the shark to be at least 19 feet long. She had never even heard of a great white shark that size here. Is it a basking shark? She thought to herself. But no, in horror she saw as the shark turned, leisurely turned towards her crippled and wounded boat in the water. Her boat was becalmed and dead in the storm. She had no power. She screamed then at the shark to go away as if it was a naughty dog or a bear in her trash. Go away! And the shark seemed to do exactly that. She saw the fin slowly cruise under the icy water and disappear under the boat. Oh my God! Great white shark, Carcharodon carcharodon, the scourge of the cold oceans of our planet. A flesh-eating beast unlike any this world has seen in a very long while. Its grandpappy, though, he was something worse. And I'm not so sure about this shark. Something strange about it. It was black. black as night. I saw no white on its breast. She huddled as far as she could away from the beast, holding on to the mainmast of the ship. The water was creeping in now, farther and farther, and she knew it was only a matter of time before she took to the crow's nest to get away from the water. At least her crippled vessel was slowly drowning rather than a fast sinking. It was a floundering. She cried then. She cried for herself, for hope, for the terror of the thing. She cried, and it helped. Bang! The sound was loud, but the force nearly pitched her off of the boat. She grabbed a hold of the mainmast, clinging to it like a spider monkey. God, no! The water began to pour in, shooting in a geyser. The shark had rammed her. It quite literally rammed her boat. Again! It rammed her again. She felt the boat listing to the side. She turned her light on. She looked down in horror, and she saw the shark. It was half breached on her ship itself. It seemed as if it was trying to smother the boat, landing on it the way that killer whales will land on seals and snuff the light from them. Her boat began to sink so fast that she barely had time to climb the mainmast. Her hands were slick, her mittens ice-covered, and she slid down more than once. She never liked gym class, she thought as she climbed, grabbing a hold of a rope. The boat was going down, inch by inch and foot by foot. The shark rolled to one side. She saw blood where it had cut itself on the decking of her boat. Serves you right, you monster, she said. And then the shark disappeared into the water again, down into the black, its black body disappearing seamlessly into the water. She felt the icy cold water hit her boots. She felt it hit her legs, and then the water was in with her. She screamed as the water rose to claim her. She held on to the mast as long as she could until it was slipping from her hands. And now she's floating in the icy water, floating with the shark down there in the water. I'm going to give you guys one last chop, one last one to save our friend's life, if you would like to. I see that heart, me too, Kirsty. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for contributing. Our likes, our friends that are liking, our friends that have gifted and shared. I can't tell you how much Shelly and I appreciate that right now. It means the world to us. So thank you very much for that. And let's have another vote. If you guys would like our friend to survive this encounter with God knows what this is, then all you have to do is touch the little happy face. But if you like a scary story, then you vote for the little crying face again. And I'm going to read some here. Hey, Jenny, the RD2 playthrough. I have played the game. It's a good game. I always want to tell Tammy, hey, Miss Morgan, hey, Tammy, thank you for the vote. You guys are wanting to save our friend, are you? Wow, do you hear that, friend? It's very rare that our macabre crowd likes to save a life around here, but our friends are going for it. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, thank you guys. This one, it looks like our friends are really rooting for you. They're really rooting. The vote's going our way for a change. Where are you? Carol, you like that? The dadgum goody goodies are ruining it. Hey, ladies here! Hey, Ashley Hilton. Hey, Gigi. Hey, Margaret Nixon. Thanks for the vote, Carol. Hey, John, the one-legged detector. 19-7. Our batty baddies are getting squashed. Uh-oh, Megan, thank you for liking the live. Thank you for the gifts, lady. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I really, really do. Hey, you're the best. Oh, Megan, thank you for liking. Kev Hike, I see you down there liking. And she waits in the water, the terror, the panic that's on her. It's really even hard to describe. Imagine being in this icy cold blizzard. At least the waves aren't overtaking her, she thinks. But it's cold, bone numbing, teeth chattering, can't catch your breath, cold. She's focusing on a breathing technique that she learned by Wim Hof. Breathe slowly, mechanically, in through your nose, Shelly, out through your mouth. Diaphragm breathing. She began to warm herself. She imagined steam coming off herself and being in a jacuzzi and not being in the cold water. It steadied her nerves. Ah! She felt something move underneath her. The shark. Oh, God, she thought, bobbing there in the water. She began to swim away from the shark slowly, the way she had been taught by Creech. Slowly in the water, as not to panic. Control your heartbeat. Swim away, swim away. Slowly. She swam. Each stroke she thought would be her last. She swam. Each stroke she thought would be her last, but it came again and again. She had been swimming for a solid 5-10 minutes now, and she finally stopped and she turned around. She dangled in the water there, the black, cold water, and she heard something in the distance. Ruff, 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 ruff. Oh my God! It's the sound of her dog. She heard her dog. She heard him. Where are you? She honed in on the sound of her dog. She swam towards that sound. It kept getting louder and louder and louder. And then she saw it. The little boat fetched up on the small island. She was in water she could stand in now. She stumbled out of the water, never more grateful than she'd been in her entire life to see her animals. Her cat was frozen. It was in the bottom of the boat, huddled up, but very much alive and angry. Her dog licking her face, the warm, wet tongue. So happy to see her, only the way that a dog can. She held the dog. She got in the small craft and covered up with the tarp. They weathered the storm that night. Oh, the three of them. She was wet and cold, but somehow she survived. She survived. The morning came, and the Florida sun broke through. She had dozed. Somehow, she didn't know how, but she had dozed. She couldn't believe it. Holy cow, we hit a gift goal. Holy cow. That's almost in time, so in just a second, we're going to thank all of our friends for taking part in the story. The daylight came, and it began warming her up almost immediately. She stood in the light, and she saw the shipping channel immediately. She was spotted. It was a Coast Guard boat. They had caught her SOS, it seems. They picked her, her dog, her cat, and even her boat up. And within an hour, she was sipping hot cocoa in a Coast Guard station, telling them what had happened. It was 6 months later that they had the first confirmed sighting of this species of megalodon. Not the one that we all know so well, but one of the smaller cousins. It was larger than any great white, but pitch black, Megalodon preces, the great black demon shark. Well done, friend, and that's absolutely amazing. You guys are unbelievable. I'm going to stop and see what you thought of the story. I'll take you out here for just a second. I'm going to have a seat, sit down, because I got an old back. Sometimes I like to sit. So let me put my glasses on so I can actually read the chat and thank all of our friends and see what you thought of the story. And just to say hi. Sorry to leave you guys. I'll be right back too. Promise, and I'll read your chat in a second. Wish I could send gifts, sir. You are so kind, and it would help now more than ever. But we do have a link tree. We have all the other giving apps that you could, if you did want to do it that way. Some of our friends do like to give in other ways, and we're very appreciative. Shelly usually finds out in the morning and comes and tells me, and with a big smile on her face, and we thank you immediately for it. So if I've ever missed thanking you for that, shame on me, lady. Thank you so much. But a lot of our friends that want to gift are not able to, that want to support us and cannot. I have a podcast. I've never wanted anything for nothing. I don't want to just take your money and battle and do things like that. We do have a podcast, and that's a great way that you can support us, and some of our friends already have. It's on Patreon for $2.99, and we're going to have more over there and some free ones on Spotify here in the next week or two. It's looking a little bit like I have to travel, so we do have other ways that you can support us, and we are grateful whenever we find those ways of support as well. So I know that you want to, and that's a great, it's just so great. So please don't feel bad that you can't gift here. Please don't. And that doesn't mean you need to gift anywhere else either. Just enjoy the stories. We're going to be here. We're going to be here no matter what. So we thank you. And it's been a weird place over on TikTok and everything. And I guess from what I've been told, Apple's not working with them, and some other companies are making it difficult, and they're making some changes too. So Thank you for that goal. And thank you. I'm going to thank all of our friends that produced that last story. Thanks to you, we're going to have another story right now. So, Megan, thank you. James, thank you so much. Lady Sabbath, you guys are the best. Death Lure, thank you. Blondie Blue Eyes. Jess Pap, thank you. Leo Miranda, thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you, Missy. Scott Rajon, I'm sorry I misunderstood Missy earlier. I'm sorry if I missed anybody too. I'm going to take the next little bit to thank everybody who's come in here and liked and commented, gifted, and shared and been nice. The greatest gift you could ever give me is being nice and your attention. Those are the greatest gifts you can give in being here. And believe it or not, we get to do a lot of good through this page, and we hope that you would follow us wherever you find us and be a part of the fun. And if you do, we'll make this a nightly thing here as well. Hello, friend. I see you. I see you. And we're appreciative of you. I'm going to come over and say hello to you guys, too, in just a second. But we do have another goal up, and we're going to tell a story lickety-split. But I'd like to come over and say hi to our cousins over here and Uncle Yube. And I'll be right back with our Uncle Tickety-Tot crowd. So you guys give me just a second. We're going to say hi to some friends. Lady, you are absolutely amazing. I think I saw you there too, you amazing friend. Hey, what do you say, Cutlass? I see you. You're amused by the trolls. That's all right, trolls. You need to do professional voice work. Thank you for saying something nice over there, Tennessee. 10 note, I appreciate it. Hey, Selma. And listen, you guys can say what you like. We just ask you kind of be nice. Some people actually enjoy story time. They enjoy listening to the stories. And that's okay. You guys can have fun back and forth. I really don't. Moderators, it doesn't matter to me. If they want to have fun and be mean and do whatever they want, it's not going to hurt my feelings or anything. I just feel bad for the people that enjoy the story if they're distracted reading the chat, you know. The chat, hopefully it'll reflect the story and you talk about kind of the story and stuff, but you're welcome to say whatever you like. I have thick skin. I've always said I have hide like a rhinoceros, and I do. And I just kind of feel bad for people that do that. I'm not trying to be mean at you back. I'm not trying to like engage and be mean back, but the way I feel about trolling is I just feel kind of bad for you. I really do. And it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything like that. I feel like you need some love. Like I kind of feel like what would cause a grown man or a grown woman just to do that, you know? Do they not have anything nice in their hearts? And that makes me feel bad for you. So it doesn't hurt me at all. So moderators, please let them have their way. You know, we'll have 1,000 people in here to say a bad thing, and we'll have 35 to say a nice thing. So please let them be. And you guys say what you like, and periodically I'll come over and say hi too. All right. Been subbed for a while, and I watch your videos. Thank you, Finley Dunlap. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Hey, Slayer, you love the mustache. That's nice. I thank you so much. Hey, yo, curse man. You can curse if you like. Absolutely. And I'm sorry, mods. Let them have a little bit of fun over there. And if you want to, you can come over on the other side and say it too. But just remember that it's harder to say something nice. It is at times than it is to say something mean. And we really want you to be friends here. We want you to come in and hang out and enjoy the stories. And chances are I'll get to tell you a story here too. But we tell horror stories and fun stories and scary stories. I'm a zoologist, so I love animals. So we'll probably find common ground, and you might find something you like if you just stick around long enough, you know? So that's all. But hey, thanks for ever told me we could do it on the website. Cirque, are you serious? You went all the way over? You about got me in tears. Are you serious? Our friend went all the way over and went all through those steps just so you could come over and gift and put a smile on my face. You are amazing. Thank you for that. That is so kind. But we're going to tell a story. Hey, Shy Marie, and I love you, each and everybody here. I love you that have come in. Just want you to know I love you, and I'm glad that you're here. So, Eric the Live, Shelly Chisholm, thank you so much for being here. I love it. You went over to the website. You are amazing. Lady Sabbath, and you're amazing too. Will you teach us about why bugs were so big in the past? I'd love to do that. We'll tell even a story about that if you like. She asked, one of our good friends asked, why were bugs so big in the past? And I'd love to tell you why that is. It has to do with the oxygen in the environment. Mostly it had to do with the oxygen in the environment. At the time of the Carboniferous, the time of the giant insects, the great insects, we had nearly 80% oxygen in the atmosphere. So it was just inundated. It was saturated with oxygen. So these critters that ordinarily didn't have the capacity to grow so large grew so large because of the strengthening of exoskeletons and everything that had to do with the oxygenation of the atmosphere. And to be quite honest, there were a lot of other things to contend with. And there was an evolutionary arms race at the time going on between the very new critters on the block, things like angiospoids and amphibians and things. So they had to be big to protect themselves. You found gigantic dragonflies, megalonia, these giant dragonflies that were as big as a bald eagle, their wingspan. Massive dragonflies that hunted gigantic mosquitoes that would later go on to bite the asses of gigantic dinosaurs. That's one thing, sir. Thank you for the tiny diny. That one thing that we've shared in our past are mosquitoes. They've been with us for a very, very long time. But I love the Carboniferous period. In fact, if you guys would like a story about that, then we'll just have to have a vote. What kind of story are we about to have? We're going to have a happy one, or we're going to have a scary one? Let's see. Let's see. How about it? You guys want a happy story? You vote for the little happy guy. If you want a scary story, you vote for the little guy that's going, "It hurts! Why are you hurting me?" And I'm going to go out and refill my water. When I come back in, I'll come back in and say hi to you, and we're going to get going. It's looking like a scary story over here. It's scary. I see monkey guy scary. What do you guys think? You want scary? You want happy? How do you get that mustache? You gotta grow it forever without touching the daggum thing. You grow it for about a year, and then you can trim it. And you put a whole bunch of wax in it, and you get it all waxed up like that. And that is wax. It's not burger, I promise. But there you go. Now, I'm going to get some water, and I'll be right back, and we're going to tell a story. I'm going to need Omega not to pick somebody for the story, if you would. One of these times, we're going to have to grab one from over here, too. Do I have a mod over here and Uncle Yube? How about we do it like that? We'll do something a little bit different. Do I have a mod over here? Mod over here, got a mod over there, got a mod over here, and a mod over there. But if I do have a mod over here, I'll have you pick one of our friends if they want a story on this side. And, maybe we'll have a hero over here and a victim over here. I mean, a villain over here, I meant to say. Or did I? All right, give me a second, I'll be right back. After these messages, we'll be right back. How does that sound? Alrighty then. Sorry about that. It's time for story. Now that I've got my agua. Hey, Chuck, thank you so much. Shelly, I see you liking down there. All right. Now, we pick some. We're going to have a story now. and I think I have an idea for this story. Somebody mentioned something about, hey, sir, hey, hats on hats. Somebody said something about big bugs. It's been a long time since we've had a big bug story, huh? Maybe we need to explore that idea a little bit. Swimming Great Barrier Reef and being hunted down by a giant mantis shrimp. Now that would be friggin' terrifying, wouldn't it? I saw a needlefish today. It's the first time I've seen one on the dock down there. And maybe I'll take you guys for a walk and we'll explore a little bit together too. But there is a needlefish down there and they're an interesting critter. I got to see today. I forgot to tell you guys about that. Sir, thank you so much. Shelly Chisholm, I see you liking. Gonna need a big can of bug spray then. You got that right, hybrid. You got that right. You're unbelievable. 150K. You guys are unbelievable tonight. Another story coming. Holy cow. I can't believe it. I'm so excited I paused Resident Evil for this. I like it. Hey, Mitchell Holt, thanks for sharing the live. If you guys are new around here, you got to be a squeaking wheel and let us know so we can add you to a story. But Omega Cutlass has somebody over there. All right, Cutlass, you got somebody. Let's see who you got. And I'm going to write you down on the board of fate, and then we're going to get going with the story. Where is my board of fate? Did I lose it? There it is. Aha, there's the board of fate. All right. Cutlass has somebody, so let's see who Cutlass's pick is. And Omega, do you have somebody over here? What are those big bugs that look like huge roly-polies? Oh, those giant marine isopods? They're creepy looking, huh? They're edible too, but I've heard they taste like crap. I really have. But yeah, Eric, those are roly-polies, those giant marine isopods, they're called. They're a scavenger of the deep ocean. And people eat them more for the shock value than the meat. I've heard the meat quality is disgusting. It's mushy and it's gross. It tastes like the worst part of like the crab's guts that you get when you eat a crab, you know? Cutlass fish, Sesco. All right, here we go. Sesco! I hope you haven't gone anywhere. And we're going to need one more after Sesco. I need somebody from over here on Uncle Tickety Talk. And then we're going to have a vote to see if Sesco gets to live or not. So don't go anywhere, Sesco. You hear me? Sesco has been chosen. And so as soon as I get Omega pick, we're going to do a little vote over here where everybody gets to choose who gets to live through the story. So only one of you are going to make it. I'm not sure. We're doing a little bit of a head-to-head here. All right? Unfortunately, listen, and you can't show favoritism either. Okay? You can't show favoritism. All right. Hey, Assiniboine. Good night, friend. Hey, Chuck, you're the best. Hey, Eric. Hey, Miss Morgan. Unfaithful, is that our friend? It is. Hey, Unfaithful. We're getting ready to tell a unique story, a cross story. We're going to have Uncle Yube, and we're going to have Uncle TikTok, and we're going to pick and see who gets to make it out of the story. We have Sesco. There we go. We got Sesco. Make sure I got it on there right. That's an E. C-E-S. Sesco. And Shelly. Sesco and Shelly. All right. Now, Omega, would you be able to do the vote, who lives vote between Sesco and Shelly? I would love that if you did. So what we do around here, this is interactive storytelling, 100%. Choose your own adventure. And to make that happen, we have to hear from you guys. Now, we do most of our voting over on Tickety Talk, but we vote whether you get to live through the story or not. We're doing something a little bit different tonight. We've picked somebody from here. We call you guys victim tiers, and we picked somebody from here. So we have Sesco from this side, and we have Shelly from this side, and there's about to be a vote because only one of you are going to make it out of this story, in one piece at least. So, all right. Let's have that. And it might be, if not, I can try to do it too. I think you were able to get it going last time. Christopher is amazing. He's a producer here, one of our amazing moderators, one of the full power moderators, and he can do just about anything. Absolutely amazing, along with Mima. And Cutlass, I need to get you set up the same thing. I don't know what, I didn't realize there were differences. Hey, Mitchell, thank you again for the share. Eric, you're amazing to like down there. I see you. He's on most nights. He's awesome. This community is great. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're here. We're here most nights. We're going to be here Monday through Friday. I like to adventure on the weekends, and I do get into some hanky-panky. I get into some fun stuff. You know, catching Everglades, pythons, stuff like that. Thank you, Omega. You are absolutely... Would you guys please give Omega a hand? Who survives? I love it. Sesco or Shelly? I'm watching the vote right now, Uncle Yube, and I'll tell you how it's going. We got about 20 friends watching on that side. Sesco, it's at 50-50 right now, so there's people voting for you, friend. But let's see who pulls away. All you have to do to vote, you see that little blue check mark up there? All you got to do is go up to the screen, tap on that. It'll come up with this little thing at the bottom, covering up my face. thankfully, for some of you. Hey, sweet, I see that. Sesko, uh-oh. Sesko, it's not looking good. Shelly's pulling away. Listen, they're pulling away. It's tight again. It's pretty close. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. We'll come back to it in just a minute. But right now, it's kind of neck and neck, Sesko. You're holding your own. The poll is up. The poll is up, and you're holding your own. You might get to survive this story. We'll see in a minute. But I'm excited. Guys, all you have to do to vote, it doesn't cost a dime. It actually helps us because it's making noise. So all the noise you can make, you can tap the screen over there. You can type comments. You just say hello. But put emojis up if you like the story, however you'd like. We also have a link tree on our YouTube, too. If you really enjoy the stories, you can go over and, throw a tip into the hat, if you like. Of course, it's free. Storytime's always free. But we have friends that support us, and they really enjoy Storytime. So you're back. Hey, Red, what do you say, brother? Let's see how that vote's going, Sesko. I'm not sure if it's going 50-50. Somebody get in there and vote. We've only had 18 votes. We need some voters. Somebody help us out. Somebody determine fate, or I'm going to have to do away with both of them. Both of them are going to go. You guys got to save one. Save one, please. You don't want me to get a hold of both of them tonight, do you? You want it to be one of those stories? Uh-oh, who survived? Sesko pulled away for just a second. Somebody went in and voted. 3 somebodies went in and voted. Sesko, 52% said you should survive, and then it's back neck to 50-50. We got 1 minute and 5 seconds left. I'm excited to see what happens in that minute. I'm worried for you, Sesko. I got scared for a minute. Joe, thank you. Hey, Stumpy, you guys are the bee's knees. Hey, that's not a... Yeah, we get to, and it sounds fake, doesn't it? It sounds made up, My whole life story sounds made up. Stick around. People always are like, you don't work with lions. And then they see me work with lions. You don't pick up rattlesnakes. Is that a rattlesnake? You don't jump and swim with sharks. You don't go caving. I've heard everything over the years. If you stick around long enough, you'll see it yourself. But we have fun most of the time. I call it creeching. That's what I call it. Creeching means having an adventure, having fun, never saying no to a little bit of fun. And Cutlass and I, we've had some fun together. She's amazing. She goes and does the same stuff. She's a lot of fun. Medic, howdy, hey. But I love animals. That's what I go in for. That's like my favorite thing on planet Earth. Dogs, cats, big cats, little cats, critters, snakes, insects, bears, pythons. I love it. Hey, Draws, what do you say? Chuck, I see you, Terry. Chuck, you're the best. Kirsten's ripping. She likes critters too, don't you? All right. Oh, well, you know what? 28 votes. You know what they came up with, Sesko? Do you know what they came up with? 50-50. So I get to decide. It's up to me, man. I'm picking. I get to do what I like around here. That's right, Creature Preacher Posse. Creature Preacher Posse, I'm glad to have you. I'd love to have you subscribe to our page. Be a part of the fun. Be a part of the madness. We're going to be here every night, Monday through Friday. It's a from now on thing, okay? And if you catch me during the day, you'll see some really fun adventure stuff when we go kayaking and fishing and looking for critters, and you'll find me in weird places all over. So don't miss. It's fun. And we actually like to have you here, so good to have you. Creatures Assemble is right. Let's tap that screen. I appreciate it. I do. I want to pick up a rattlesnake, lose my left hand. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, don't pick up rattlesnakes. It's just not a good idea. They like to bite people when you pick them up. Usually you don't have to worry about it. I do love them. The rattlesnakes they don't want to bother you. That's the great thing about them. Save Shelly. She died on her birthday. Oh no, Lorna said. All right, so we got a story coming at you. What kind of story do you want? Now, whatever you guys want. I'm just going to read your chat. Whatever crazy things you got in your imagination, try to keep it PG-14, all right? Because I can't tell any rated R stories here. Man, I could to you guys, but I can't to over here. So we keep them kind of PG-13. So, yeah, Bozo the Clown. We could tell a clown story. How about, I grew up with Bozo. You know that, Bozo? So when I was a kid, let's talk about that. We're going to do a clown story. So when I grew up with a clown called Bozo. I was born a long time ago. Some of you might remember Bozo the Clown. I lived in a little place called Ohio, Waterville to be precise, and there was a clown by the name of Bozo. And he did a show every day before I get up for school, really early in the morning. The Bozo show, Bozo the Clown show would be on. And I remember they had this bucket game. To this day, I have dreams about this dadgum game. They have these buckets lined up. There was like 10 buckets. And they gave the kid, he's always a kid, like a local kid from our schools and stuff. Like one of our kids went over there from our school. I thought he was the coolest kid on planet Earth. Bozo the Clown would give you this little ball and you had to throw it in the bucket. And if you hit one bucket, you got a little toy. If you hit the other bucket, you got a little toy. I never saw a kid make it all the way, but I always thought I wanted to play that game so bad. That brought off a good memory. So we'll do that. We'll do a clown story. How about a scary clown story? You know, or we could do a happy clown story. It depends on what you guys like. That's all right. What would you guys like? You love Bozo? You remember Bozo, Shelly? The amazing grand prize game? No way! Somebody remembers that? A scary clown? A creepy clown? Oh, I like a creepy clown story. What do you think? I like that. Of course, yeah. That's so cool you guys remember Bozo. I don't know what it is about clowns that frighten people so, but we're about to find out, aren't we? All right, Sesko and Shelly, come on down. Oh my God. Sesko and Shelly were looking forward to the state fair. They were looking forward to the circus that they held every year. It was the greatest time of the year for everybody. The year was 1985. I can see it in my mind that night, the night of the state fair. The cars on the road, Camaros and IROCs, great big cars, square-bodied trucks, not like today. Everybody wearing denim, leather bomber jackets with their cuffs rolled up at the bottom. The music of the day. There was rap, but there was mostly rock. It was the days of rock and roll. I can hear the song they were playing in my mind's eye as they went to the fair and the circus that night. I believe it was AC/DC, Back in Black. They were driving in their Bonneville on the way to the fair. When they saw it, they'd never seen a person get hit by a car before. But they did. The car directly in front of them swerved, and out of nowhere, they hit him. He went up over the hood of the car. They weren't speeding, they weren't drinking, they weren't going that fast. It just was a horrible accident. The man's name was Tom. He was a local drunk and homeless man that had lived in the town as long as they remembered. He died that night. They almost didn't go to the fair, Sesko and Shelly. They were so horrified by what had happened. It wasn't until one of the police officers told them, "Son, you should just go and do what you were doing. This could have happened to anybody. I know it's ruined your night, but I think you should probably go and try to have some fun anyway, don't you?" And they agreed that it'd be better than going home and crying there. So they went to the fair, and it was a somber feeling, knowing that a man had just lost his life, even though it was not their fault. They couldn't quite shake it, that feeling. They went to the state fair, and they enjoyed it as much as they could. But it just wasn't the same. The circus came out. They watched the taming of the lions, something that they had loved the previous years, ever since they were little kids, watching the lion tamers work with the great big cats, both lion and tiger, roaring and pawing at them. The crack of the whip, the way that they would jump through hoops, and some of those hoops even on fire. The elephants and the clown car. It was always so fun for them, but it wasn't now. They left the circus early, headed for their house. And on the way, their car began to make a strange knocking noise. Bang, 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 bang. The only damage earlier from the man that they had hit had been the windshield. There had been no blood or anything. The man had simply hit the car and hit the pavement, and he died. They pulled over to the shoulder. The car was making a hissing sound. The engine was rumbling and dying, and it finally gave out. It had happened before. but he thinks he knows what it is this time. And sure enough, when he opened up the hood, it was a cracked head. His car's ruined, he said. We're going to have to hitch a ride. And it's exactly what they did. Put his thumb up. Back then, you could still hitch a ride fairly easily. Before long, somebody came and picked them both up, and they were riding for their homes. They lived separately, of course. They were only friends. They were dropped off first at Shelly's house, and then Sesko's. They had been there for a very short time when Sesko heard a knock at the door. It was a loud, insistent knock. He went down to investigate. When they went to investigate, there was nobody at the door. There was no one home. His mother had died years before. Father worked nights. The house was empty. It wasn't funny, he thought, somebody coming and knocking on the door like that. Ding-dong ditching. Went back up to their room and listened to music, and the door knocked again insistently. When they went back down, this time they saw their friend Shelly. Shelly didn't want to be alone after what had happened that night, was terrified to be in the house by themselves. All they could think about was the man that they had hit. Bang! The door rapped again, loud. They had just come in and shut the door, and it banged in with such explosive force that they both shouted out. They looked over and they saw somebody standing on the front porch. It was the man that they had hit earlier, old Tom. They couldn't believe it. The man was dead. They knew that he was dead. They screamed at the top of their lungs. Tom lumbered forward as if he was going to come in the house with them. They slammed the door shut on him. They couldn't believe what they had seen. How could they? Tom, the man that they had hit a short time ago, he was dead. They saw him take him in the ambulance. He could not be alive. There's no way that he was alive. But he was there. They saw the same things that he was wearing, his ragged clothes, the same things that he was wearing. Then they heard it. The laughter, high-pitched, demonic laughter. Outside on the front porch, it was Tom laughing at the top of his lungs, laughing madly, banging on the door. Let me in! Let me in! He said. Please, please. Go away! Go away, Sesko said. Please go away! And it seemed to work. The sound of him banging on the door, the sound of him screaming stopped. Sesko ran to the window and looked out, and there was nothing there, nobody on the porch. Or he had been before, just a few moments before. Sesko said, he's gone. Shelly said, there's no way. He was just right there. I was looking out. I was looking, and he was there, then he was gone. What's going on? Is it a demon? Is he a monster? Call the sheriff, please. They had an old rotary phone hanging on the wall. We probably all know the type. It takes forever to dial with one of those things. 1, 2, 5, 8. And it takes time to come back every time. It's like running through quicksand. Sesko thought as they tried to get anybody. But the number that they called, no one answered. They're not answering. Why is nobody answering? Somebody finally did. The phone picked up. Hello? Hello? Help us, please! Is this the sheriff? The voice on the other line began laughing maniacally in his ear. He hung up the phone in terror and disbelief, looking down at it. What's going on? What is going on? The door banged again, insistently. They heard the laughter, loud and clear. Sesko looked out and he screamed at the top of his lungs. Shelly screamed, ah! They saw it. There, the clown. It was a clown that they had seen earlier in the night. They'd been so distracted by what had happened. But they had both taken notice. One clown, unlike all the others that were capering around and dancing and laughing. This clown stood aside defiantly, staring at the others. He held a large hammer in his hand, a massive mallet. Something about him was just off, they thought. Just off. And there he stood now, with the same hammer in his hand. I saw him flicker. Sesko saw it too. What is it? What is that? And then he was gone. Just as sure he's been there a moment before. They had seen him with their own eyes, and he was gone. The laughter came directly behind them. Sesko turned in horror, turned to face the clown. But it wasn't a clown now, was it? This thing, whatever it was no clown. Sesko screamed. Shelly threw what was in her hand, a bottle of Coke. But it didn't even hit the thing. It flashed right through. I saw its arms far too long, its legs far too strange, knobby, thick, and twisted. Where the clown feet should be, I saw massive, horrifying clawed feet. Its horns that seemed to be a part of the clown costume before from a distance. Now you could see that they weren't. Slowly, the misshapen, long, lumpy hand removed the mask on its face, and they screamed in horror to see it. They screamed. The face, it was Tom's face. The man that they had killed earlier in the night. We didn't mean to do it! We didn't know! It was his face, but so much worse, so much more. It was his face attached to another, darker face, as if it was eating Tom's head, and his face was sprouting from its foul mouth, as if this thing had swallowed Tom whole and opened up its mouth to scream. Tom's eyes blinked. They were wide, coated with the cataracts of death. His mouth opened, his tongue lolled out, and I heard his voice hiss. Why didn't you help me? Didn't you know? He screamed. Sesko began to vomit, not believing at all what he was seeing. The vomit streamed down, and then they fainted dead. Shelly screamed and screamed and screamed until her voice went hoarse. She screamed until she couldn't any longer. The pain was blinding and intense. The white light hot on their faces. They were together again now, side by side, in the same hospital room. There'd been a terrible accident, the doctor said. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sesko blinked up in terror, not able to breathe, trying to reach their hand up to feel why they couldn't breathe. They felt the pipe running in their throat. They heard the beep of the hospital machinery. They tried to open their mouth to speak, but no sound came out. Their lips were gummed shut. They were trying to ask what happened. Everything was so strange. Where am I? How? But no word would come out. The panic was intense. They gave Sesko something in one of the IV lines. The pain diminished and they calmed down. They were floating in a haze, not understanding, but coming to. They looked over to the left and they saw Shelly. Sesko would have screamed if they could. Shelly had been burned so badly, he could barely recognize her, but for her hair. You've been in a terrible accident tonight, kids, both of you. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Old Tom Hubbard, the town drunk. You killed him with your car. You ran off the road. You slammed into a tree. Your whole car was on fire. You've been burned terribly. You were in a coma for days on purpose. They medically induced your coma because the pain, they say, is so severe. Can you hear me, Sesko? Blink if you can hear me. Sesko did blink with what was left of their eyelids. They understood now. It had all been a horrifying dream, hadn't it? The voice came out of nowhere. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to do it. I like a cliffhanger for the last story of the night. I'm going to pop off here, pop you guys off too. We're going to sit down for a spell and say hello and see what you thought of that story. And I'll probably cut her short tonight. Sometimes we do 9 till 12. Sometimes we do marathons. It just kind of depends. But let's sit down and read some comments. Hey, Cirque, thank you so much. Hey, guys, I appreciate you. Sorry for that. Ready to smash peaches? I like peaches. Having an episode, no ghost. I tell interactive stories here. That sometimes they're not the best. I didn't feel like that one was the greatest, but sometimes you hit a home run, sometimes you bunt. So, hey, Cirque, thank you so much, Meemaw. Hey, Miss Morgan. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight and liking and being absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing some lives tomorrow too, as always, but we're going to be here all week. So I'll probably cut it short, go get something to eat. I might go for a little bit of a swim or a kayak or a bike ride. I think I can get the bike out in the snow now, so it'll be fun. And I might even pop back on with you guys because I can do that over on Uncle Ube. I can take you guys over there. I can't take Uncle TikTok because they get mad at me for going on adventures. But thank you guys. And for our friends that ordinarily do support us here and they'd like to continue to support us, but you can't because you're having issues there, we have a link tree. And Shelly and I would appreciate it. We'd really could use it. We're getting ready to travel and everything else. So we promise we'll continue to bring you fun content wherever we go with animals and critters. We're going to be in Quietchobe working with the tigers before long. We're going to be in Ohio working with Zach before long. But we'll take you to show you some haunted buildings in Ohio and do some fun live streams there. So we'd love to have you subscribe and be a part of our fun. Stick with us. And I promise sooner or later you'll start to see some content that you guys might like. I do a little bit of everything. But we'd rather have friends. We're always looking for people to come on alongside us and enjoy the same things that we enjoy. And above all, I enjoy animals, so you'll get a lot of that wherever you find me. Cirque, thank you so much. Eric, thank you for that great story. If you come to Indiana, we'll go look at that ship. I'd like it. Yeah, and we got a Patreon with a podcast episode, and we're going to have another one out here shortly. So if you'd like to support us through our Patreon, that'd be great. I'd love for you to show me how to fish, Fred. We need to get you up here so you can do exactly that. Yeah. Well, let's read a couple comments. Yes, bring us Selma. I love you, Selma. Mark Underwood, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Probably some of them are good. Some of them I didn't know. But thank you. Almost at Ohio, Kobe. I'm going to be almost to Ohio soon, too. I'm going to be in Ohio this week, sometime soon. Cirque, you're absolutely amazing. Thank you, everybody who has contributed tonight and likes and shares and gift goals and everything else. You guys are the best. We really do appreciate it. What was that weird noise? I don't know. Roads are dry now? Yeah, I shouldn't have any trouble out. That's good. I'm hoping that we won't have any trouble. We're taking our little car. Cirque, you're the best. Thank you. But we do have a link tree so you guys can follow us on the different apps if you're wondering where I do a lot of my streaming. I'm going to be doing it all over the place. So please go on my link tree. You guys have the same link tree, I think, over on Uncle Ube. And you can see all the places you can follow me. But I'm trying to make a difference in the world. I want to save as many animals as I can. I don't get to talk about it as often, so I like to close out with it. But we can be losing up to 100 species or more of animals every day. We can fight about a lot of stuff. You might hate the way I talk, the way I look, my mustache. But most of us can agree that animals are pretty freaking outstanding, and we like our animals. Some of you might like wolves or tigers or bears, oh my. Some of you might keep snakes or have aquarium fish, or you might love a dog or a cat. We can agree on those things, and that's why I think I'm on planet Earth, is to save as many of those as I can. We've been working on a television show for years, a pilot episode of the Creature Chronicles, which will blend storytelling but it'll tell stories about the things that matter the most. You matter the most. And I love our community here. I always check my messages. I know what it's like to not have a lot of family. I know what it's like to kind of be the underdog and have people look maybe down on you, maybe not to have such a squeaky clean life and have had it real good. So we kind of gather together with other people that like to lift others up. That's kind of what we do. It's what I like to do. So you're welcome here. You can say whatever you like. I know that sometimes we'll moderate when we're telling stories and stuff, but we just hope that you would say some nice things from time to time. That's all. But I'm glad you're here and you're spending time with us. My beard's been growing for a couple of years. Show us your biceps. I don't have much in the bicep department. Mike says you're the nucleus, some really great people. Mike, you are absolutely one of them. Mike he's a gynecologist. He's an absolutely amazing doctor and one heck of a person, one heck of a guy. So we've got, Shelly said, you always lift me up along with your beautiful wife. Thank you for that. Meemaw, we love you. Meemaw is one of our moderators on both sides here. So if you see Meemaw, you say hi. Wear your cat like a glove. Some people have in the past. They've worn cats as gloves. We talk about some weird stuff. In fact, I might pop off and talk. I can actually talk over on Uncle YouTube about some really weird stuff. So I think what I'll do is I'll say goodnight to my TikTok crowd. I love you guys so much. We're going to see you tomorrow, too, for story time. And if you did want to help us and keep supporting story time, please go to our link tree. More than, and not just us, but I'm going to ask you for any of your content creators that you really, really love. They're all feeling the pinch right now. Everything's really off and not the way it was for a lot of smaller ones. For a lot of the bigger ones, it's life as usual. But for a lot of others, it's very difficult. So even if it's not me, even if you hate me, find some content creators that you love and support them and help them out, maybe especially now more than ever. But we love you guys and we appreciate you. And I'll see you guys bright and early. I'll be earlier tomorrow. And I'm sorry it was a little bit, trying to make up a little bit late. Hey, Eleanor, I love you. Yeah, flip over if you want to and see me over on Uncle Ube. I'll be over there for a little bit. I might walk around and do something for just a minute and talk with our friends and say hello. But I love you guys and we'll see you mañana, Uncle Tickety Talk. All right, Preacher Posse. I hope to see some of you over on Uncle YouTube. I'll be heading over there. We're over there now. I'm on Shelly's phone over there. Love you guys. All right. So now that I got just my Tickety Talk crowd, my YouTube crowd, we have to be very careful of my stories and content violations over there on Uncle TikTok because it's really, really like that. Here we can talk a little bit more freely, and I'll try to do that with you guys, but I had to get up and stretch for a second. Hey, Chris, say pee-pee pooper. You guys are an interesting crowd, I'll tell you that. Hey, Carlos, who for you is the best president of the United States in history? That is a fantastic, you know what, Carlos? I love questions like that. I really, really do. Right now, we got so much political stuff and people want to argue. I really am not into arguing, but I think of presidents, I think of them all capable of doing some really good stuff and some really bad things. And for different reasons, I like different presidents for the good that they've done, never for the bad. I think of Theodore Roosevelt, the bull moose. I don't even really know what his political affiliation, to be quite honest, really was. But I loved his character. I love Theodore Roosevelt's character in some ways. He was just a tough dude, He got shot once during a story right in his breast and just went on with the story. They called him the bull moose. He used to fight and he boxed and he was in war and he was a real temperamental guy. But I also like Thomas Jefferson, and I'll tell you why I like Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was an extraordinarily bright man, and he was a thinker. And he had things about him that were bad and things about him that were good. Obviously, the time that he was living in, there could be some very bad things. But as far as a man of science and a man of learning and understanding, he gave us a lot, and he helped to forge our nation. And he was the nucleus behind the Great Western Expansion and a lot of other things. So I think of them for different reasons. I think of presidents that have done some pretty cool stuff. I've never really studied much of presidential history, to be quite honest with you. Now, I could tell you some stories from a few different presidents, but Abraham Lincoln, I love the fact that Abraham Lincoln was an MMA guy before MMA became popular. He was a real badass. He did something called catch as catch can wrestling. And I'll take you out and show you around the rest of the place. I'm going to go sit in the other room. But, my back aching back. But he was quite a savage opponent to fight. And that's part of the reason James Will Booth snuck up behind him and shot him in the back of the head like a sissy, is if Abraham Lincoln had been facing the man, old Abe Lincoln would have busted his ass. He really would have. He would have busted James Wilkes' ass over his knee. But I dare say Abraham Lincoln probably could have fought two men and broken him over his knee. He was really fierce from the old stories. So catch-as-catch-can wrestling, believe it or not, was not wrestling. It was an old, hard, nail-biting style of wrestling that came from the Welsh and the English and the Irish. And it was literally that, catch-as-catch-can, where they'd break your arm, they'd bite you, they'd stomp you, they'd claw your eyes out. It was mixed martial arts without all the rules that you see in the UFC. You know, headbutting, eye gouging, fish hooking, if you could get by with it, they were rough. So I think of different presidents. But that was a really good question. Hey, Nick. Hey, Omegonaut. Look at that. Some of our friends coming in. I love it. We can adventure over here. We can talk over here. We can have some fun over here. So good to see you guys. Hey, Charlie. Hey, good to have you. But that was a really good question. What about you? Who do you guys like? And please be mindful. Some people, you might like somebody else might hate them. It's just kind of be nice. But yeah, for different reasons, I thought some pretty cool presidents have done some pretty cool stuff. So I don't know too much about Washington. I do know that he had a very interesting life growing up. He did a lot of neat things and saw a very different world than we have now. And I think that's something that I would have loved, just to visit those time periods to see what they saw and what the world looked like back then, you know? That would be wild. But do you know Fortnite, Archie? I do. I have some friends who play Fortnite quite a lot. One of my good buddies does. Hey, nature and comedy. Do I brush my teeth? I do. But I'm an old man, and these are my teeth, so they're not perfect looking. Yeah, and some of them have been knocked out by fighting. I'm an old boxer. You can probably figure that out if you see my ears and my scars after a while. But yeah, I brush them. They ain't pretty. But I'm glad that I got them. You love President Trump? There you go. Who else? Kendrick Lamar, I've heard of him. Any other presidents you guys have liked as well? No, somebody asked earlier who's some of my favorite president. I said I liked Theodore Roosevelt because he was tough. I liked Abraham Lincoln because he was a fighting guy, and Thomas Jefferson because he was a thinking guy. But yeah. But I know Fortnite. Hey, welcome in, Creature Preacher Posse. Hey, John Pizolski, thanks for the sub over here. Teresa, same to you. Yeah, we love some animals. Hey, Selma. You have fake teeth? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel bad for people, that have issues, because there's a lot of self-confidence tied in with your teeth. And some people, for different reasons, they don't have perfect teeth. And, they get made fun of a lot for it. I know some people that they've been made fun of so bad that it really hurts them. And it's just a sad thing, I've been there, so. You like Theodore Roosevelt? Yeah, Mark, Theodore Roosevelt was a badass. You knew Archie? Well, we're welcome to have you. Black Bart, I like it, Buster. Hey, Marie Antoinette. I'm fond of the revolutionary presidents, right? Washington was pretty kick-ass. He did some cool stuff. But I heard a creepy story about him the other day. You want to hear the story? Now, some people say that he had wooden teeth, and at one time he did have wooden teeth. But he also had teeth made of human teeth. And they weren't cadaver teeth. Some people say that he had teeth taken from slaves. Now, I don't know the veracity of that story. I've heard a lot of similar stories that they use cadaver teeth. So I'm not sure if that was the case or not. But boy, oh boy, that would put a rather horrifying spin on history, huh? To me, good night. But, so cadaver teeth were something that were used quite often too. When somebody died, don't let those good teeth go to waste. If a man died, and he still had good teeth, a lot of times they pulled those teeth, and that's what you got your dentures made of. You literally had a dead man's teeth in your mouth. That sounds like one of my story times, huh? Oh, I could tell a wicked story about that right now, huh? But yeah. You brushed mine, but I also had problems from surgery. Yeah, I've been on Benadryl most of my life and stuff, and I used to do drugs and used to drink alcohol and not take the best care of them too. So I've been almost 3 years almost without booze, and I'm very, very proud of that. Any others? Any others out there? Slave teeth. Isn't that scary, Eric? But any others out there that have got a couple years sobriety, and there's nothing wrong with having a drink or anything if it doesn't bother you or control you. But I got to where I was kind of bitter and angry. But yeah. Please do check out my link tree for other places to find us. We stream from TikTok Monday through Friday, and we're going to stream here too Monday through Friday. So, but I didn't know that he had a black belt in Taekwondo. Huh. Your name is Geet? Hey, friend. Hey, Geet. Good to know you. The Western theme song? Yeah, I could use some Western music. Can you guys tell me a good Western? How about oh yeah, here we go. Computer, play the music of Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack. Bada bing, bada boom.
Red Dead Redemption 2
loud. I sleep here with it that loud just so I love having loud noise on when I sleep. There we go. How's that sound? Archie, you're welcome in. We're going to tell a story. We might just tell a story now. We'll see. That mustache is lopsided as F. I bet it is, man. I mean, I live with it, you know. And I lost a hair recently. I was growing a hair on it that was like out to here. I'm not exaggerating. My friends will tell you it was out to here. And I finally kind of plucked it out the other day. It was kind of coming out on its own, and I took it the rest of the way out. But yeah, I don't doubt that it's lopsided, man. What do you think? Do you guys like it out longer, or should I tuck it up a bit? Right in the eyeball. You know, most people are lopsided. Speaking of lopsided, most people have one side that's dominant and larger than the other. So I guess my mustache is kind of like that. My right hand's a little bit bigger than my left hand. My right mustache is a little bit bigger than my left mustache, you know. How do you eat? Well, it can be messy. And crying sucks, man. Don't make me cry. Please, don't make me cry. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you don't want to snot and blow your nose with one. That really, you got to get the tissue way up underneath it. But you eat just like anything else. And, you know, I kind of get it out of the way. Now, kissing's a pain in the ass for the wife, but, you know, you just get it out of the way and you shove it in there. You hope. Yeah, I'm still alive. I figured I'd come over and hang out here for a little bit. I heard everybody over here is being nasty and mean, but everybody's being really nice. I like that. So size bigger. My left foot is a half shoe size bigger. Wow, Treasure Bessler, you serious? Your mustache is that big regardless. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm keeping it real. I bet she likes it. Yeah. Better believe it. You have heterochromia? Get out of Dodge. Emmy's got one eye that's a different color than the other. You're very special in that, you know. It's very rare to have that. And that's something I've always wanted. Even in high school, I used to wear one contact, different color than my other colored contact, because I like that look. That is really, really neat. And it's cool. You're already a very unique person, but that makes you even more unique. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Ashanique Baker, it's fancy. Thank you, friend. Your name is fancy. I like Ashanique Baker. That's a fancy name. It's majestic. Thank you. I like it. It is a great game. Yeah. Somebody told me about this soundtrack for our lives a while back, and I really enjoyed the soundtrack. We play it about every night now. Yeah. 12 years clean, Shelly Rodriguez. Fan-freaking-tastic. 10 years, Melissa Jones. Man, you guys are inspiring. Any others that got a couple years off the booze or off the pills or off any of the stuff that wasn't treating you good? I'd love to hear about it. It sounds like a made-up voice. It does sound like a made-up voice. It does, doesn't it? I mean, I'm the first one to tell you it sure does. But it is. And sometimes it'll get a little different. You know, it'll get a little different when I get excited and high-pitched or something. But no, this is my voice. I'm on them drugs that make it deeper. And I got big thing of creatine that I eat. And I think it... No, but yeah... I always had a deep voice, and then I got on testosterone and made it a lot deeper. But, Emmy, hey, Hybrid, you're writing a story or listening to this is so nice. That's freaking awesome. Listen to Halo. Oh, cool. Hybrid, I wish I could take a screenshot of that. I'll try that next. I took a screenshot. I'm going to try that next. Do you have a lazy eye? You're saving it for later? Almost 3 years, Gray. I'm right there with you, Gray. I'm at almost 3 years, man. Like, I think I'm like a couple days away from it. But yeah, we're really close, really close. And that's just from alcohol. Before that, I got years and years of opiates. About killed me. That's what almost took me out of the world was pain pills and opiates. I was a fighter, you know, and I came by it honestly. Bad back, bad shoulder, bad hands. but I got hooked on them pain pills. So luckily for the pain pills, it's been a long time, since 2010. But I had a little hiccup a few years after that, but luckily it was a very short-lived hiccup, and I got back on the old train and been off that stuff ever since. And the booze. Got off tobacco about 8 years ago, and I love my tobacco, man. My whole life. That's probably another reason why I don't have the perfect teeth, eh? But I loved cigarettes and pipe, and I loved cigars, and I loved chewing tobacco and dip. Above all, I'd dip 2 cans of dip a day. And one day I got up and stopped. Done with it. So I'm glad to hear some others. Your dad's dying from that right now. I'm so sorry, Emmy. I'm so sorry to hear. Gray, I'm glad I found you, friend. Marie Antoinette, I hope you guys will all follow each other too, wherever you find each other. Sorry, y'all, I won't stand for any billionaires so long as wealth and inequality is so vast. Hey, listen, I'm with you, though, on the wealth thing. A lot of our trouble, people are fighting against each other, party to party, they're fighting, person to person, they're fighting. But what it's always been, and it's always going to be, is the 99% of us against the 1% of the wealthy. That's all it is, guys. If we could see that it's the rich versus the poor more than anything, that's where a lot of the problem lies. It really does. But that's just my opinion. But I'm so sorry your father's going through that. I'll be praying for him. I really will. Hey, Roberto, thank you for that. Holy shit. Hey, what do you say, Lucifer? Howdy, friend. New Zealand. How cool is that? You remind me of an Adam Sandler character in a good way. Thank you, Hudson. I love Adam Sandler, man. I grew up on Adam. He's one of my favorites. I wish I was as funny as him, man. I really was. But, hey, Kirsten, so good to see you. 6 years clean, Lucifer. Kick ass. That's fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. I love to hear that. And the greatest thing to remember is every day's a new day, and you can forgive yourself and start again, because I had a lot of hiccups before I started to get it right, Shelly Rodriguez, I'm so glad you're here. Unfortunately, now he's 5 years on dialysis with end-stage kidney failure and severe restrictive lung disease on oxygen 24/7. Shelly, I'm so sorry. COPD is no joke, and cancer and other things that come with it. And you never know. I've known people that have smoked their whole life, and they smoked up until the time of their death, and they were, never had an issue. And then other people that it's not worth it. It is not worth it. And when you get free of it for some time after you've been a few years free of that, and even vaping and stuff, and you're like, why was I killing myself for so long? For something of so little return. It's taken years off my life. I'm going to tell you a really cool study I took part on in college. My first year in biology in college, in Brevard College, I had an awesome professor. And he wanted to show us the effects of caffeine on the human body. He was a smoker. He hated cigarettes. He hated it. He knew it was going to kill him, but he was a smoker. His name was Bill Brown. I'll never forget. I'm going to tell you something I did one time that pissed him off too. Computer, turn volume to 4. But let me grab my other water. That tastes weird. I'm weird about my agua. So the study that we took part in was this. He, right there in the middle of the class, lit up a cigarette, took 3 puffs. Before that, he had drawn some of his own blood and put it under a slide and put it up under magnification on the wall where we could all see it. And we looked at his healthy red blood cells, the way that they are supposed to be moving and active, and you could see white blood cells in there. It was really, really cool. And then he stood up and he said, just didn't even, it's surprised. He was that kind of teacher, the kind of teacher that everybody wants to be or wants to have. Because we're all doing our own thing. We're paying attention. Like half of us were half asleep. And all of a sudden he just lights a cigarette in class. And we're all like, he gets up and he puts like a towel over something so it doesn't go off. He lights a cigarette. He takes 3 puffs of the cigarette. I'm not exaggerating too. This has just happened in class. And he goes, now we're going to take some blood and I'm going to show you what happens after I have 3 puffs of this. He said, did you know that when you go out and smoke, he said, you only need 3 puffs? He said, you take 3 puffs, you put it out. He said, you've got everything your body's going to get. You're going to hit your ceiling. And at any rate, he put it out. He drew some more blood, did a finger prick, put it on the thing, and showed us the blood. And before, where his red blood cells and his white blood cells had been active and moving and something like a linear motion, they were kind of creeping along at a steady, sedate pace. After he had smoked, they were bouncing. They were weird looking. There was a noticeable change, and a not too good change. And he began to describe what happens when you smoke, what actually happens when you smoke a cigarette. And I'd never heard it before. But when you take that first puff of tobacco, nicotine, I want to tell you, nicotine is one of the greatest poisons out there. Nicotine is a phenomenal poison. Nicotine, it's used in a lot of pesticides. It's a wonderful, it stops cell respiration. It's great in a big dose. It's a really effective poison. So when you take that first hit of poison, when you smoke a cigarette, your micro hairs, your mouth tightens up, it begins to dry up. It reduces your salivary ability, so you can no longer, the healthy bacteria that are in your saliva can no longer coat your teeth, and you start to suffer. But when it goes into your lungs and goes into your throat and goes into your nose, when you draw that smoke in, it stuns the cells in your nose that have cilia, the little tiny hairs. You got nose hairs for a reason. Don't pluck them. They're there for a reason. But in your lungs and in your throat, you have tiny micro hairs as well in some of those passages. So you take that in, it stuns them all. Same thing goes into your lungs. It goes under your lungs and it stuns those little hairs. No longer are those hairs filtering particles. It's allowing any nasty particles in. That's why when you smoke cigarettes, people tend to get sick at a higher incident than anybody else. It's not because they're outside smoking in the cold or something. It's because while you smoke, it stuns all those tiny micro hairs, those little cilia, those first line of defense about things that you pull into your body. It's all stunned now. They're all like, nah, from the tobacco. Quite literally, the effects of it. While you're under the effects of the cigarette. When you start having that feeling in your throat, like you need to have another cigarette, like you get kind of like a tingling in your chest and in your throat, that quite literally is when those cells are starting to wake up. Those cells that have been stunned by that poison, the nicotine poison, they're waking up and those tiny little hairs are flowing again and they're moving under the control, the muscular control of the cell wall. They're moving again and they're filtering the pollutants. Think of it like an anemone in the ocean flowing back and forth. If the anemone is stunned, it just kind of is not doing anything at all. But if it's floating around, it's doing this, it can catch those things. It's really, really neat. But yeah, you used to wax your nostrils. It hurts, doesn't it? I've done it too, man. I've done it too. Yeah. But now that I have a mustache that kind of hides the nose hairs. Hey, you like the Dallas Cowboys, Israel? I don't do much football, but that's awesome. I'm glad people have good hobbies, and like football's a good hobby, Do you edge? I don't know what edge is, WR. I don't know what that is. You mean my mustache? Nicotine and alcohol. Those are difficult ones, but you guys are a bunch of overcomers here. I know you can do it. You've quit smoking a few times, but then life gets stressful and I pick it. Listen, I'm not judging anybody. I was the same way, man. My little comfort sticks. And I loved them, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved them. And to this day, it's just weird that I don't have any desire, because I used to love them, but I didn't realize that was part of my other addictions as well. Like I'd do opiates and I'd have a whole pack of cigarettes or something, it was crazy. But I remember one time I had put a big wad of tobacco in and drank a Monster Energy drink and about had a heart attack. I was like, but ultimately the reason I quit the dipping tobacco is I went to the dentist one day and I sat down in the dentist chair and she pulled back my lips and looked at my teeth and she goes, "What's that on your lip?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "There's a white patch." And I immediately, my hyperactive mind, my hypochondriac mind goes, "Leukoplakia, the first sign of cancer. Is it mouth cancer, doc?" She goes, "I don't know what it is." I know what it was now. It was the indentation from my dip that I just had in my mouth before I went into the office. But just her verbalizing that, it scared me enough to go, okay. I knew a guy recently that died of jaw cancer. It was horrifying. I don't want that to be me. I'm done. And I went to the vape for a while with the nicotine vapes, and I got more hooked on that than the tobacco. And I said, I don't need that. So I got off that too. I even did the gum for a while, Oh man, I couldn't stand the gum. Oh. Yeah. I quit smoking crack easier, Yeah, I bet. I'd even done that a few times way back in the day. Oh yeah, I got into all kinds of stuff. I'm grateful. I went from being a druggee to a drug counselor. So, I definitely did my homework in those things. I moved to Naples, Florida when I was a kid, and then the first time I had access, I remember the first time I was 9 years old and somebody had cocaine, and here, put your finger in it, put it in your lip, and it numbed my whole mouth. Oh, that's pretty neat. So yeah, unfortunately, I was influenced by it at a very young age, and drugs are bad, they're horrible. Now, we talked a little bit about this the other day, and I want to tell you this. This is really interesting. Hey, Ashanique Baker, so good to see you. I love successful stories, man. But listen, you know, the history of pharmacology is a very interesting history, and some things that have been historically poisoned, categorically deadly, have been used for recreational good feelings. Arsenic, people don't believe me when I say this. You can look it up. Arsenic used to be used recreationally and also as a performance-enhancing drug. Arsenic, strychnine as well. These things are poisons, right? They kill us. But people have used those. Radium is radioactive material. People have used it to feel good. So, really, really odd. There's a line, and there's a lot of things in nature. We find analogs in nature. Snake venoms, things that are deadly. Pufferfish venoms, neurotoxic venoms that should kill. Curare, things that are quite deadly. But if they're used right and they're harnessed, it can be quite healing. But crazy stuff, the world of pharmacology and what it does to us. And the addictive substances are some of the most frightening. They really, really are. They change. People don't realize this with addiction medicine, but when you suffer from, say, an amphetamine addiction, when you are fully under that influence, when you stop taking that substance, it can take 2 years for your brain to rewire itself. It quite literally changes everything about who you are. Your loved ones, it changes who they are. So you already probably know that if you're struggling with it yourself or you know somebody that is, reach out for help. And I'd be happy to talk with you and share with the things that help me and even try to help you get help. But those things change who you are. The decisions and the things that you make under the influence of that, it's not necessarily reflect who you are. You need time to get away from it, to get out from under it, to find out who you are. You're a great person underneath all that. And the same thing goes for your family that you might have given up on. You might be close to giving up on them. Don't give up on them. Sometimes tough love is best and taking the hands off of the situation, but don't give up. As long as there's life and there's breath, there's hope. You know, I was one of those that, oh boy, I was kicked to the curb and given up on. I gave up on myself, you know? So, you're here for a reason on this planet. You just have to figure it out. But all that stuff was just, gets in the way. It really does. But you don't have to be alone and do it too. Never drink, never do drugs. That's the best way to do it, honest Dar. That's the best way to do it, friend. That's the best way to do it. And I wish I had listened to all my elders. I saw all the infomercials and stuff as a kid. I'm on the spectrum, and I think more than anything, my whole life, I just wanted to fit in. And through that world, I was able to fit in. I was able to pretend. I was able to pretend I was like everybody else. And it would just, made me into something I wasn't. And at the time, that's what I wanted, I think, you know. But I didn't really start getting it right till I was a 32-year-old man is when I kind of came up for air and came up for help. And that's when I had a life change and decided, all right, not only am I done with that, but I want to help others for the rest of my life. So I went into completely different things that I'd been in, we'll just say that. You're better than you. Oh, you might be, Annis. You know, you might very well be better than me. You probably are. I'm just an old scumbag that, you know, found faith. That's all. So yeah, you're probably right. You're better than me. I wouldn't doubt that, buddy. You've been sober for 16 years, Thunder Twin, Force Cats. That's freaking amazing. Yeah, I love to hear that. Hey, Rambo, what do I think about MJ? I think that it can be just like anything else. It can be fantastic or it can be bad. Now, as far as psychoactive substance go, I'm going to be real honest with you. A lot of people don't like this. I don't think that you should be under maybe 20 years old and using it on a regular basis. And I'll tell you why. Because it also rewrites your brain chemistry. It also rewrites your neural pathways, and it changes you. It's psychoactive. It changes you. And they've done studies on people that have smoked before they were 17 years old, and some of those people are more likely to experience some negative side effects later in life relating to psychoses and some issues, you know, with neurological issues, we'll call them. So I started when I was about 16 or 17 on MJ, and I wish I hadn't. You know, I wish I'd waited till much, much later. But some people, you know, use it for wonderful reasons. And whether it's recreation or not, I have a lot of friends that use it. I've used it to sleep in the past, and I used to smoke a lot, And when I counsel people, I'll be real honest with you. I regularly met with people that were there because they were beating on their wives or their husband, or they had been in trouble with the law in my office. I never had somebody come in because they got high on weed and they beat the hell out of their wife. Maybe they were arguing over who's going to get the last of the candy or something. It might have got a little pushing and shoving, and then they fell over and fell asleep on each other. But no, so as far as things go, I think that, and I always say this, my mother died of a drug overdose, an opiate overdose mixed with Xanax. She died from that when I was a young man. And I always say that if legal marijuana had been around then, my mother would probably be alive. She would have found what she needed with that and wouldn't have had to go to the other stuff, But anything in excess can be very, very bad, very naughty for you. So be mindful of that too. Don't let it control you. Nothing. Don't let anything control you. If it does, then it's a problem. Right? I think we'd all agree if something's controlling who you are and your decisions, your decision-making abilities, and maybe it's time for a change. But I've got almost 3 years off of the booze and a lot longer than that off opiates, and I'm super duper happy about that. And my life really began when I got off that. You subscribed, thank you again for that. Let's read some comments. Oh, that's all right. It was when I was much younger, but I like to drink 2 large-sized Monsters a night. Man, I had to give up the Monster Energy too, Buster. I really did. When I was younger, I think you can get by with it, but I got a weird ticker. Hey, Treasure, figured you were Spectrum-y. Had a similar experience trying to fit in and manage sensory stuff. I like the way you put it, Spectrum-y. That's so cool. Yeah. Now look at your life. It's amazing. It sure is because of friends like you. Hey, Murdy. Or some sort of 40 ounce. I hear that. Sometimes I regret giving my brother the tough love to get him off of the meth. I mean, don't really forget it. He's clean now. Yeah, Shy Marie. We also, family members act differently when people are suffering from addictions too, and you have to forgive yourself for that. You really do. You have to bear in mind that might have been the only kind of love that would get through them, and I've been there too. Struggle builds character. You got that right, Ashanique. You got that right. You have a voice that should be advertising Marlboro Reds. Thank you, Murdy. Thank you. Baseball fan. Hoagie. I can say Hoagie. I get scared because I get those wrong sometimes, and people try to trip you up and say, TikTok, they used to get me all the time, get me to say a bad word or something. So I'll say Hoagie, and then I'll come back and I'll say Mac or something, I'll try to slow it down. Milk jugs or a dump truck. Well, I'm kind of a leg man myself. I like a nice pair of gams. Hey, Granzer, you're on oh man, I know, hey, it might feel good, but be careful with that stuff. It could really turn bad. That's a combination that takes a lot of people, and you might be just saying it to get my goat, but be careful with it, because that really is a combination that a lot of people go to sleep and they don't wake up on, so I'd hope you'd be mindful of that. Big Bump, howdy, hey, good to see you. Kurt, is that a real mustache? It is, Kurt. Thank you for saying it nicely. It's real. It's a real pain in the butt, too, sometimes. Is ecstasy also dangerous? Listen, ecstasy, I experimented with that, and yes, it is. It can be extraordinarily dangerous, and I'm going to tell you why ecstasy is very, very dangerous. It's cut with so many different substances. Pure MDMA is a lot different story if it's been synthesized in a lab. And I don't recommend doing any psychoactive substance whatsoever. And I'm not telling you to or experiment with any of these things. In fact, I say run from those things. But ecstasy is a very different experience because of the admixture of not just MDMA, but other chemicals. So you could have it with an amphetamine, you could have it with heroin, you can get it with so many different things, and most of those chemicals are not even those. They're bathtub chemicals, really bad stuff. So it's not unusual that people have very adverse reactions. And then there's just the dehydration. A lot of people die from kidney failure and dehydration from being on things like that. So you have to be really mindful of anything that you'd be willing to try. And I would steer clear of it. There's really, for the temporary feeling, it's not worth, it's just not worth it. It really isn't, in my opinion. I think, if anything, MJ is where I would draw the line these days. I don't really think of anything in microdosing. I have a lot of friends that Deadeye Two Tongues, a good friend, that he does a lot of mushroom dosing, not microdosing and things. And there are other things like that under medical supervision can be very, very beneficial. And even ketamine therapy and a few things that have been proven to be very efficient now. But as far as the recreational stuff, you always have to understand that the people giving you those things are not, they don't have your best interest at heart. In fact, they want to keep you alive long enough that they can drain your wallet and your bank account. But they don't really care how that stuff affects you. They don't care if your teeth are falling out and you're losing weight and you're dying on them, as long as they can get what they want out of you first. So please be mindful of that. And I've lost some friends too. One of my good friends I talk about quite often, Kyle Epler, he loved X. I mean, that was his thing daily, almost for a while there. And that might have led to some of his psychoses. He had always had some issues, but I don't think that helped. When he disappeared in the Everglades, he's dead, and I'm not saying ecstasy did it, but he was turning to that a lot towards the end. And I've often think it had something to do with it. But yeah, be very careful. Hey, Eric. Hey, Amima. What do you say? Hey, Ashanique. Hey, Shy. Hey, it's for horses. I love it. Yeah, it's all right. You don't have to be. Hey, AJ. What do you say, buddy? Yeah, happiness and support. That's right. You can buy mushroom. Yeah, you can get that. Can you, Kobe? I didn't know that. You can get them in smoke shops. I had no idea of that. I know things are always different in different places, too. I needed this tonight. It's so easy to be caught up in your own crap and problems, yet here we are reading and interacting with each other. That's what I love about our community, wherever we find it. I'm sorry I mess with, and guys, you don't have to be nice. You can say what's on your mind. I know a lot of people come in here and they're kids and they're out just kind of cruising, and we'd much rather have friends. We talk about some pretty cool stuff here. Other than this, sometimes we talk about some fun stuff. If you like aliens and Bigfoot and monsters and cryptids and adventure and stuff, if you follow my page, if you like tigers and lions and bears and raccoons and possums and snakes, we do all kinds of fun talking. So we'd love to have you subscribe. We really would. I'd love to meet a friend. You might find a good friend of me if you give me a chance. I've had a lot of trolls come in and say, hey, I came in here to troll you, but I kind of liked it, so I stuck around. And that's like the best thing in the world. That's why I say, please don't just give them the boot right away. Give everybody a chance. Hey, Trent, do you think you ran into a Bigfoot on the island? Holy crap. Did you see that video, Trent? That scared the Hello Kitty out of me. So, guys, something happened today. Hey, Naga, how do you say? Hello, bro. Oh, I can't say your first name very well, but I would try it. Aswupweg. Supweg, probably saying that completely wrong, but I try. Maybe I got it wrong. I know I did, but good to have you. Now, you subscribed 15 minutes ago, Emmy. You're the best. So if you go watch my video over on the TikTok, I had something crazy happen. We had a big snow in Florida. I live right on the bay. In fact, we should walk down. You guys want to walk down? We haven't had an adventure yet tonight, and I'm getting ready to adventure. So let me get my warm clothes on, and we're going to take you guys down on an adventure, and I'll show you. And maybe we'll hear it again. For the love of God, it'd be awesome if we heard it again. I would freak out if we heard it again. It's very cold out, so I'm going to bundle back up. All right, so I'll tell you about the story. Check these guys out. You like my hat? Yeah. So we live on Santa Rosa Sound now. We've traveled for the past couple of years around the state of Florida. I create content, work with animals, help people wherever I can, and help animals wherever I can. But we recently moved to the Destin area. We're in Destin, Florida right now, and we're on what's known as the Santa Rosa Sound. And there's islands back there, uninhabited islands in the middle of nowhere kind of islands. And since I've been here 3 times now, I've heard something over there that's got me just really confused, because I'm a zoologist and ecologist, and I can tell you about any animal you can name right now, just about any animal, and I might know a little bit about it. But I've never heard anything like that. Seems like a weird noise like that. And I've heard it enough times now that when I heard it the other day on the boat, I thought, didn't really even think much of it, but we were having a winter storm. It's just a crazy story, but we're having a random winter storm. I'm trying to get this thing to untangle. And I decided to go kayaking back in the Sound. And I had you guys on a live stream. We were all together, and I had you in my pocket of those overalls. And as I was paddling out, I went and screamed. I was like, "Yeah, this is awesome!" And then I did like a woo, you know. And a few seconds later, I hear woo something back, and I just was like, I didn't really think much of it. I was on with you guys. I was really in a dangerous spot, and I'll show you why. I could have, you know, there was storm coming down. There could be a boat coming. I could have died so easy there if a boat was cruising through too fast. You know, if I went in that water, I could have drowned. So just it would have been bad. So I'm already kind of just trying to pay attention. And not long after that, I hear a massive splash, and the splash sounds like it's on the other side of the island. So I beach the craft, I get over to the island, I film for a little bit, the snow's just ripping in, and I decide I'd better get back before it's too late, and maybe I'm not able to get back. So I get back, and the next day I edit the film, and I do a video, and as I'm editing the film, I hear that sound again, and I turn it way up, and I listen to it about 10 times, and it freaks me out, man, because whatever I heard, it shows up on that video. And you can hear it too. I wish it was louder. I wish you could hear it louder, but you can definitely hear it. Ooh, something like that. And it freaked me out. So we're gonna go look for it right now. We're gonna see what we can find. I'm bundling up because it's about 20 degrees here. I'm even gonna grab my gloves. We're gonna see. Hopefully there's no bear or anything out tonight. We're gonna take a walking spear with us just in case. Running an old bear wants to make a meal of Creech. You guys pray for that bear. I gotta find my good hat, spot to rock. Computer, what's the temperature in Fort Walton Beach?
Right now, in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, it's 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 46 degrees. The only thing that sucks about this, I gotta take these guys off if I go out. Yeah. What's your favorite animal? What's happening? We're gonna go for an adventure and see if we can find a Bigfoot. I know it sounds crazy, but I'll tell you more of the story in a minute. All right, there is our boom. Gotta grab my keys. There we go. Sorry, guys. I gotta make sure I got some good light.
No, we could see any manner of wildlife out tonight. We could see raccoon, we could see possum, we could see coyote, we could see bobcat, or we could see bear, which is the one that we'd most likely see as a bear, especially if the trash is out on the curb tonight. Oh, see a bear probably. Yeah. And they are big black Florida black bears. So they're hard to see at night unless you see their eyesight in person.
Let's go see what we can see, huh? Old Irish iron inlaid with silver. Means I'll be okay. All right, you guys give me a second. Let's get locked up. Trash is out, so we'll probably will see a bear. I'm checking to make sure. But there's not one sitting right behind me. It's quiet with the snow on the ground. Very quiet. So, I'll turn my light on in just a minute. I gotta figure out how to turn this around. I just had a really kind of a sneaking feeling that we're gonna see a bear for some odd reason. Look at all, about 6 inches of snow. Are you guys there? Can anybody see me? Is anybody there? Anybody there? Let me know if you can still see me, if you're getting me. Because it said that I had to reconnect. You can see me? Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. You guys ready for some light? There we go. I'll put this on for now until we get down to the water. So, the area that we live, look at how deep the snow is here still. We could take the kayak out even right now. As soon as I get the kayak holder, my friend Susan is sending me a kayak holder, guys, and or a phone holder with a leash on it. As soon as that's possible, I'd have no problem taking you guys out right now, kayaking in the middle of the night to the island, to where I heard that voice. It freaks me out, but I've never been one to shy away from my fear. And if the water's calm, I might do that anyway. It's 26 degrees right now. I was sliding down this hill in a kayak the other day. Shh, you hear that?
was a heron. That was a heron. That was not the mystery sound. Lord, it looks so different now, guys. Look at this. Good. Beak attack is... I could go get the pedals for that, too. Oh, man, that water is so low. I'm talking low, 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 low. There was a needlefish right here today when I came down. It was sitting right there in the water. Could have about gigged it if I wanted to eat it. All right, whoa. Something just jumped. All right, give me a second to put my stick down. I could spear a shark right now if I saw one go by, a bull shark. Oh wait, look at the mist on the water. I thought I did see a shark for a second. Holy crap apples, Batman. Let's see what's down in the water, huh? Oh, that's slidey. I'm not walking on that. That's an instant recipe for falling in a drink. That would have been a bad trip to fall. I'm making out you here for that. You would have, that would have been good live TV, that. Because I just about would have went down in there. Hold on a second. I'm going to put my stick down so I can show you guys around a bit. Yeah. All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. Good, I got a glove right there and I got one right here. Let me get that. There we go. Holy cow, that's a good view. Are you guys getting good reception? Let me know if you can see. Florida has snow. Yeah, we got 7 inches here. I'm in the Panhandle. That's kind of Destin when you get off to the left. We're not too far from Destin and not too far from Fort Walton Beach. But look at that water. Oh yeah, moderators, I do have Shelly's phone right now. My phone's at the house, so if she needs mine, you guys would have to call my phone, Christopher. And I just want to say thank you for being here with us. I know it's late, but guys, if you can make some noise down there, let me know what your temperature's like. And tell me where you're at if you don't mind telling me in Florida. I'm always looking to meet friends, and I might have been in your spot. I grew up in Naples, and I've traveled all over the Keys collecting wildlife. I've been to every key within the past year and a half, and I've caught critters on every one of them. All the accessible ones, I should say. Joshua, just messing. Hey, Marie. Is it late? Yeah, it's 1:03 here. You got good reception, Kirsty? I'm so happy. So that noise that I heard was right over there. I'm going to try to focus in on the island if I can get this thing to work. All right, holy cow, look at that. That's the island. Let's see if we hear it. What the? It's an alligator. Holy crap. Christopher, please screen record that. Oh my God, I don't know how to do it on my wife's. Somebody screen record this. Holy shizzle. That is a big ass alligator, y'all. That's not even exaggerating. I'm focusing in on him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy crap. Please tell me you see that gigantic alligator. Holy crap. I can't tell Shelly about this. I can't wait to tell her. Oh my God. I've said that 1,000 times, I'm sorry, but guys, that is a Mississippi, that is alligator mississippiensis, and that's a good 10, 11-foot alligator. There's snow on the ground right here, and there is a gigantic alligator cruising right freaking there. I am shaking. I am literally, he is not scared one bit. I can't even get the light on him. Oh my God. Oh, holy crap.
That's the phone shaking. It's because I'm not. It's not because I'm cold. I am so happy. I'm so happy. I gotta touch the water and see if he'll come over. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on, buddy. Hey, how cold are you, friend? I just want to see if he's going to be scared off, because this is freaking me out, man. Wild, absolutely freaking wild. Oh my God. I don't want to trip on that spear behind me. I almost did. I got to take my eyes off that big old gator. Oh my God. Oh, this is unbelievable. You stay over there, buddy. I won't hurt you, I promise. Oh my God. The water's got to be 30 degrees. I cannot believe. Oh my God. He's just a blinking and blinking, blinking. He doesn't know what to think. It's good that he didn't come to the water. He didn't come to the sound of the splashing. I'm very grateful that he didn't do that. But he's not scared either. There could be another one around me, so I got to check and see. This is really, really interesting to me. I'm waiting to see if he's going to sound. Oh my God. Guys, I wish I had my TikTok going right now too. This is absolutely insane. I don't even trust my own legs right now. I don't trust my own legs. I gotta sit. I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. Oh my God. I knew I'd find him if I just kept coming. I've been coming and looking. I've been looking for you, buddy. I've been looking for you. Since I've been here, I've been looking. You make me feel like I'm home. You make me feel like I'm home, bud. And you promised not to bother me, I won't bother you. I could swim with you right now. I could hop in the water and I could take a swim with you and I'd be just fine. Wouldn't I? You know what? He's not leaving. He's literally, guys, I don't know what to think of this. This is a truly, truly remarkable experience for me. That alligator's not going away. I might be able to go get my other phone, I've got my good camera, and I have a feeling he's gonna come to me if I go get my camera. I'm gonna get my kayak and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get some good footage of him, guys. I can't let this opportunity pass. He's not afraid, so I have to go get my camera and get the kayak in the water while I can. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. Oh my gosh. Okay. He's just staying right freaking there. Oh my God. And I gotta let my wife at least know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. Look at, there's snow on the ground, y'all. There is snow on the ground and I'm getting ready to go kayaking with an alligator. Yes. I've got the best life ever. Oh. Guys, would you have believed this? Would anybody right now on this live, would you have believed this? I've got it on screen capture. Oh my God. But I'm gonna go get my good camera and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see if he's there. And I'm gonna go out to meet him. Oh, life is good. Look at the snow on the ground, y'all. There's a gigantic alligator out there in the snow on the ground. This footage, you have no idea. And that's salt water. This is footage that nobody's gonna believe. Quite literally. This is see you on the news tomorrow kind of footage. I could not believe my own eyes when I looked out and saw him cruising there. And he's holding position. He's not moving anywhere. That big old gator's waiting for me. Gotta get my phone. Oh, this is bananas. My God. I'm going live on TikTok too to show you guys this. I'm hopping off with Shelly's phone so she has it. Sorry guys, I gotta go. Oh my God.